Yeah, Charlton find themselves in 18th currently in these early stages of the Championship season. Ian Danter and Perry Groves will be bringing you this one live from 3. And Dans, what have you made of Charlton's start to this season?
Well, I think they've tried to acclimatise as best they can. They're waiting for certain players to really kick into gear in terms of goal scoring. Charlie Kelman, who had a good spell at Leyton Orient last year, they're waiting for him. Sonny Carey's got his first goal. Harvey Nibbs arrived from Reading, scored the late winner to get that success over Watford. I should break off for a second because they've just unveiled a massive tifo in the Kop end away to our right hand side. One of our own, a massive banner with an image of Chris Wilder tapping the Blades crest on his jacket. Wow. Very nicely done by the club to welcome back Chris Wilder. I thought I'd mention that.
And there's a little "we're sorry" just underneath it.
Very small print. Very small print.
Just apologies.
But back to Charlton. They've got. When you look through the spine of the squad, Natalie, there's good stuff in there. Yeah. Thomas Kaminski's a very experienced goalkeeper. You think of his time with Blackburn Rovers. You've got Connor Coventry, Greg Docherty knows his way around. Amari Bell's been a player in the Championship with Blackburn and Birmingham for some considerable time. The building blocks are there, but they're budgetary wise, it's a different stratosphere to what a lot of Championship clubs have got to spend. But Nathan John just understands that. He lives within his means.
Yeah, well, so obviously with the huge unveiling of the tifo, we can already sense the atmosphere maybe a little bit different at Bramall Lane for this game, and Wilder returning to the Blades takes all the headlines, Perry. So how does Jones and his players manage this occasion?
Well, I think they've just got to make sure that they're good in possession, that they don't give the ball away, because they know that Sheffield United are on the front foot. They're going to come at them. Obviously Charlie Kelman, who Dan's mentioned there, they'll probably look to play into him. He's got to sort of step up his games. I think he struggled a little bit maybe with a bit of expectation after he got his 21 goals for Leyton Orient last season. And they need to be a threat going forward now as well, because against Millwall they were controlling the game and they maybe should have been sort of 2 or 3 up. Then Ramsey gets sent off in the 75th minute, then they concede an 88th minute equaliser from Mangora Williams, and that was a game that they should have won quite comfortably. So it's just about managing the game, but they have to be a threat going forward, because if they sit back, we're not sure whether it's going to be like a 4-2-3-1 or whether Nathan Jones might go with 3 centre halves, with Burke going in as the extra centre half. We'll see obviously from kick-off, but they just got to make sure that they don't come here and they're not too passive. But they don't historically do very well in Yorkshire. They haven't won the last 6 away league games in Yorkshire, so they're at the moment the archetypal Southern Softies.
Well, you've teed it up nicely. I should say they have one of the best defences in the league. They've only conceded 5, but goal scoring wise just 3 so far for them. We've got a packed live football schedule for you as always across the Talksport network this weekend. Over 500 games we're bringing you this season. Game Day Live is over on Talksport right now with Adrian Durham taking you around the grounds with all the Premier League, EFL and other games to include. And we'll be bringing you Fulham against Brentford later this evening on Talksport, kicking off at 8. But it's now time to take you to Bramall Lane for live and exclusive EFL Championship football on the home of the EFL, Talksport 2, in the company then of former Arsenal winger Perry Groves and your commentator Ian Danter.
Thank you, Natalie, and a very good afternoon to you wherever and however you're listening to Talksport 2. Welcome to Bramall Lane, Sheffield, and welcome back once again to Chris Wilder, former Sheffield United player, and as of today now a 3-time Blades boss. You just can't keep him away from the place. 3 months on from his dismissal by the new American ownership group, back they went, cap in hand over the weekend to the man that once took them from League One to the Premier League. His immediate task is to allay any fears that this club might go back to League One from the Championship. 5 successive defeats in the league and just 1 goal to their name. Wilder's third spell as boss begins with a visit of promoted Charlton Athletic, who won on opening weekend against Watford but haven't picked up another win since. They arrive here after coming within just a few minutes of a second victory last time out at home to Millwall, before conceding that late equaliser that Perry mentioned there to their London rivals. Sheffield United's last game was that Ruben Selles final game in the hot seat. They completely fell apart at Ipswich, live on Talksport 2 with a 5-0 defeat. Wilder makes 3 changes from that starting 11. Recalls for Gus Harmer, Tyrese Campbell and Chidozie Ogbeni. So their team, Michael Cooper in goal, as Chris Wilder takes the acclaim of fans all around Bramall Lane as he stands in the middle of his technical area. Lovely moment for him Bit of deja vu, I'm sure, for him as well, as he gets it for the third time of asking. So in front of Michael Cooper in goal, Ben Godfrey, Japhet Tanganga, Mark McGuinness and Harrison Burrows in the Sheffield United back four. Sidney Peck and Alex Matos holding, and then Chidozie Ogbene, Callum O'Hare and Gus Harmer behind Tyrese Campbell. As for Charlton Athletic, well, Nathan Jones felt they'd have beaten Millwall comfortably had they kept 11 men on the pitch against Millwall. Right back Kane Ramsey sent off with a quarter of an hour to go. He's suspended today. His place goes to James Bree. One of two changes from that derby game. The other sees Reece Burke preferred to Rob Apter. Could well still be 4-1-4-1 for the Addicts. Thomas Kaminski in goal, James Bree, Lloyd Jones, Amari Bell and Josh Edwards in their back four. Connor Coventry, the holding midfielder, and then Reece Burke, Greg Doherty, Sonny Carey and another Tyrese Campbell out there. God, that's going to confuse me. And Charlie Kelman is the lone striker for the Addicts. The Greasy Chip Butty song has been sung loud and proud around Bramall Lane once again. We're sat in the Tony Curry South stand here, the Cop to our right, the Bramall Lane end to our left. That's the end away to our left in the Bramall Lane end, where the visiting Charlton fans are in the lower tier. The Cop to our right, packed to the rafters, and that's the end that Charlton are attacking as we're underway on Talksport 2. They're wearing their change strip this afternoon of sky blue and white shirts, sky blue shorts and white socks. Sheffield United, who are attacking the Bramall Lane end in their traditional red and white stripes with the black shorts and socks. Straight away, down the left-hand side, Josh Edwards wins a throw for Charlton Athletic, 10 yards from the corner flag, showing a good bit of intent for the visitors early on. I'll keep you updated with goals going in elsewhere this afternoon as all the 3 o'clock games are getting underway. Liverpool won the Merseyside derby over on Talksport at lunchtime. Long throw going to come in from Charlton, maybe left-hand side. It is indeed going to be hurled in to the penalty area from that far side, flicked on at the near post, but it'll bounce through to Michael Cooper, bedecked all in yellow. He bowls it out overarm, and he's found Callum O'Hare, who's got two to his left as he gets inside the Charlton half of the field. Just holds play up for a moment and then sends it down the right-hand side, asking Chidozie Ogbene to give chase. It's put out a play for a throw to Sheffield United at the left-hand end of the ground. 0-0 in the second minute.
Yeah, good play from Cooper, Sheffield United goalkeeper, just making sure he took it. It's a loop throwing dance, wasn't it, from Edwards. Just took it quite comfortably and bowled it out to Callum O'Hare down the right hand side. Ogbene just going on the underlap, just gets a little toe in, corner, to throw in for Sheffield United over on their right hand side,
which they've taken, but they've lost out, and Charlton work it over halfway, and a chance for Charlie Kelman to have a run at Tanganga at the back. Kelman up to the edge of the area, shift it onto his left, gets the drive away, but it's a good 2 yards wide of Cooper's left-hand post. But a good break from Charlton Athletic, just to scare Sheffield United in these early days under their brand new old boss. 0-0 on Talksport 2.
He didn't look really convincing there, did he, Charlie Kelman? 1v1 with Tanganga. Needs to go with a little bit more purpose, go at him with a little bit more pace and make Tanganga make a decision. And he did sort of jog towards him, just got it onto his left foot. Tanganga just tried to close him down and he just snap hooked it, scuffed it past Cooper's left-hand post. So just a little bit lacking confidence from Charlie Kelman there. I think if he's a centre-forward dance who's scored a few goals already this season, I think he just attacks Tanganga with a little bit more aggression.
Ball's out of play on the far side for a Sheffield United throw. Bottom of the Championship then, the Blades. 1 goal scored, 12 conceded. It's their worst start for 30 years, the Blades. Throw in from the right-hand side will drop for Gus Harmer, trying to lob it up to O'Hare at the edge of the area. Charlton get it clear. Kelman lost sight of the ball as it drifted towards him on the halfway line. So Sheffield United get it back, 0-0. Newport County get the first goal of the 3 o'clock games this afternoon. That's down in League 2 at home to Gillingham, who, remember, haven't lost since Gareth Ainsworth took charge late last year. Newport on a dreadful run of no winning 7, but Nathaniel Opoku has given them the lead. And Forest lead him at Burnley early on in the Premier League. Nico Williams makes it Burnley 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
Dancic, look at Charlton, was wondering how they were going to line up. They've gone with the 3 centre-halves with Burke, Jones and Bell. And Bree as the right wing-back, Edwards as the left wing-back. Just leaving Charlie Kelman up front on his own.
Here is, down the right-hand side, Chidozie Ogbene tracking back towards the halfway line for Sheffield United, and back it goes to Michael Cooper, yet to keep a clean sheet this season. Had such a good season last year. 21 clean sheets in all in 43 Championship matches. He's just passed the ball down the left-hand side because there's a foul there. Just a little clip on Gus Harmer, who had a face like thunder when the camera was trained on him at Portman Road when he was sat on the bench and then brought on once the game was long since beyond Sheffield United at Portman Road. He was not a happy camper, but him and Chris Wilder have a very, very good understanding.
Wasn't a happy camper, Dance, but he's probably on the bench thinking that was a good one to miss. I've become an even better player now.
So you players don't think that, do you?
It's me, myself, I. Bit of Joe Marmer trading.
I wouldn't possibly believe it for a second. Perry Groves alongside me, Ian Danter here at Bramall Lane. We've played 4 minutes, 0-0. Early stages. Game just settling down here. Lovely bit of space for Harmer to look for Tyrese Campbell at the edge of the area, but it's intercepted in the nick of time at the back by Reece Burke. But then play given up, and forward comes Harrison Burrows, finds Campbell, tucks it out to Harmer, left-hand corner of the penalty area, curls the ball into the box, and that's well claimed by Kaminski. There were players running across the line in front of him, but he held on to it as he fell to ground. It is Sheffield United 0, Charlton Athletic 0.
Yeah, it's good play on the left-hand side from Sheffield United. Burrows just feeding it out to Harmer, gets onto his right foot, whips it in, and unfortunately Tyrese Campbell got involved in the build-up because you need someone to get across Kaminski, just to get in his eye line. In the end, it was a really easy take for Kaminski.
I will say there's 2 Tyrese Campbells out there. They're not related.
Can we have one TC?
Maybe I'll call the one from Yorkshire Campbell, as they like to use that sort of heavy pronunciation on the bell for a Campbell in this part of the world.
And what we'll go...
Campbell.
Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell. Yeah, okay.
Campbell,
you want to go south.
Jamie O'Hara.
You want to go South London for the other one.
Campbell.
Yeah, the Tyrese Campbell of the Sheffield United vintage is the son of the late great Kevin Campbell, once of Everton, who lost the Merseyside derby live on Talksport at lunchtime to Liverpool. That was 2-1 in the end to the Redmen, who continue their brilliant start to defending their title. Stevenage 1, Exeter 0 in League One. Harvey White with the opener for Stevenage. 0-0, and the ball breaks for Chidozie Ogbeni on halfway for the Blades. He's got players trying to get back goal side of him in the Charlton lineup. Greg Doherty just forced him off the ball. Sidney Peck clips it to his left for Harrison Burrows. Harmer calling for it left-hand side for the Blades. Plays it back down the left-hand side of the area looking for Harrison Burrows, but Reece Burke will protect that ball behind for a goal kick to Charlton Athletic away to our left-hand side. Charlton, their last win here came in 2011 at League One level, but they've only had a couple of trips up to this part of South Yorkshire since. Jan Kermigan and Bradley Wright-Phillips were the goal scorers that day when they won here, Charlton. Back at Championship level after 5 seasons away in League One.
Just looking at Sheffield United, we wondered, obviously, who's going to play in the 10 at the moment. Looks like O'Hare's going to be in the 10 position with Harmer on the left-hand side, Ogbeni on the right. But I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a little bit of sort of interchanging between those two, because they're both very, very gifted flair players.
Ogbeni for Sheffield United gets over the halfway line. Coventry watching his every move. O'Hare gives it back to Ogbeni, midway point of the Charlton half. Now Peck takes over, knocks it infield to his defensive midfield partner Alex Matos. Back to halfway it goes, and McGuinness, played for Luton last year before moving to Sheffield United, fires it into the Charlton half. Peck on the half turn receives it from Harmer, centre of the half, works it out to the right hand side for Ogbeni, who might have a run at Josh Edwards here. Gets into the area, right hand side, dives for the byline, tries to pull it across. Edwards turns it behind for the first corner of the game, which goes to Sheffield United at the Bramall Lane end, 0-0.
Yeah, good play from Ogbeni, wide on the right, 1v1 against Edwards, and it's just refreshing to see a winger to try and go on the outside, obviously, rather than keep cutting inside all the time. Goes on the outside, changes the angle to bear for Edwards. He got a really good block in. Corner for Sheffield United over on their right hand side.
Salford lead in League Two against Swindon. That's third against Top at the Peninsula Stadium, and it's George Grant who's got the opening goal. And Brighton lead Spurs by 1-0. Yakuba Minte and Wolves lead Leeds by 1-0. Ladislav Krejci putting Wolves ahead at Molineux. And there's a minute's applause for a Sheffield United women's player who sadly passed away over the course of the last week or so. Meantime, Harrison Burrows is actually going to wait until the minute has elapsed here, the 8th minute, because that's what we're in, the 9th minute, I should say. Harrison Burrows is taking part in that applause and will not take the corner until that minute's applause has subsided, which is a lovely touch.
Very classy gesture. The referee, Ben Toner, actually said to Harrison Burrows, just wait on a minute, because the referee was actually clapping himself as well.
And in it comes then from Burrows into the near post, but headed away by Charlie Kelman, back doing some defending for Charlton Athletic. Walsall lead in League 2 at home to Tranmere. 5 unbeaten. Walsall even Weir with the opener for the Saddlers. Here's Sidney Peck, right-hand corner of the area for Sheffield United. Lovely skill to get away from one defender, but his drive into the box was blocked out for a throw on the right-hand side. But the game's settling down now, and Sheffield United starting to warm to their task at 0-0, 9 gone.
Yeah, nice little Cruyff turn from Sidney Peck on the right-hand side of the 18-yard box. Again, I just think you can tell Chris Wilder's had his input already, because they're not hesitating either to get their crosses in dance, are they, from the wide areas, or get their shots in on goal from 20, 30 yards. So just a little bit more positive intent from Sheffield United.
So to recap, goals in the Premier League for Brighton, Nottingham Forest and Wolves early on. At lunchtime, Liverpool beat Everton, as I mentioned. Wins in the Championship for Birmingham City and QPR. Leicester and Coventry, that was a stalemate. You heard that live on Talksport 2 from the King Power at lunchtime. Blackpool got a very late winner to beat Barnsley by 1-0, having lost their previous 5. Also, Bolton continued their great run, beating Wigan 4-1 to go 8 unbeaten. Lincoln are now 10 unbeaten in League 1, having beaten Luton 3-1. Cambridge 2, Fleetwood 1, and Harrogate 2, Shrewsbury 0 for League 2 lunchtime results. Here come Charlton Athletic at 0-0 with 10 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Reece Burke powering forward from the right-hand side. The cross is deflected up in the air. It almost bounced over the head of Michael Cooper, and coming in was Charlie Kelman. But in the end, it was kept away from both of them by a ricochet, and Cooper could claim hold of the loose ball in the penalty area. Very drizzly afternoon in South Yorkshire. Steady rain falling to slicken this pitch up and perhaps make it quite slippy for one or two out there, Perry Groves.
Yeah, actually, as a player dance, these are perfect conditions, because it makes the pace of the game a little bit quicker. The ball zips around. Just looking at the attempt from Charlton Athletic, when Kaminski had the ball, he threw it out to Reece Burke, who's playing as the right side of the free centre-half, and he actually berated James Breed to actually get further forward as the right wing-back position. So basically what they're doing is, Charlton, is they're making sure that if Edwards on the right and Bree Edwards on the left and Bree on the right, that when they're in possession, they become basically the right and left wingers. So there's an intent as well from Sheffield United. And you talk about leaders, I'm just looking at Reece Burke as well. He's come back into the team today, and he's the one who's sort of talking to everybody, telling him to go and close down. And when it goes in to Gus Harmer, then Burke's the one who released himself to make sure that he can't get turned on the ball.
Ball played downfield for Charlton, but dealt with at the back comfortably enough by Sheffield United. Ball breaks on halfway, and O'Hare is chopped down by Greg Doherty. The two number 10s colliding bang on the halfway line. Theatrical fall by O'Hare, but no card for Greg Doherty. It's just a free kick for Sheffield United at 0-0.
I thought it was Tom Daly for a minute. It's going to give him like a 9.6.
Woking 0, Forest Green 1 in the National League. Jaden Clark for Forest Green. Robbie Savage continuing to have a great start to management life at the new lawn in the National League. Sheffield Wednesday lead at Portsmouth by 1-0. Barry Bannon putting Wednesday ahead at Fratton Park. Wednesday yet to win in the league this season. Free kick for Sheffield United as Sidney Peck lifts it up to the edge of the area. Headed clear by Burke. Nodded down, but it'll break for Charlton Athletic to bring it clear, and suddenly Tyrese Campbell is away for Charlton Athletic. Kelman's up there with him. Campbell, right-hand side of the area, gets the shot across the face of goal, and it's well wide in the end. The Charlton fans away to our left thought that was closer than it actually was at the Kop end, opposite to where they were, but lightning quick break from Charlton came to nothing in the end, 0-0.
Yes, again, Tyrese Campbell for Charlton Athletic, just picking the ball up on the right-hand side. Just found himself 1v1 up against Peck, and again doesn't really go with the conviction. There's a couple of times that Charlton have got 1v1 breaks, and they've got to make sure they go with more purpose. He goes to go on the right hand side, gets his shot away. Again, wasn't a good connection. This rolls, aims by Cooper's left right hand post.
Talksport and Talksport 2 in the midst of 20 consecutive days of live commentaries from all manner of different competitions. We brought you Champions League, Carabao Cup and Championship this week. We've got WSL tomorrow, Arsenal Manchester United, whilst Perry's on Talksport with Sam Matterface for Game Day Live for goals as they go in from around the grounds. Then you've got more Premier League Monday night. You've got Carabao Cup and Europa League and Conference League in the week, jam-packed with live football. Just get the app downloaded for your smartphone and you can find out exactly what we've got coming up. Mansfield are down to 10 men in their game in League One this afternoon at Port Vale. Ryan Sweeney given a straight red card at Vale Park. 0-0 there, still the score.
Did he book him, Dano, first before he sent him off?
No, I can't do the 2 lemons make a strawberry. I think it's a straight red. Free kick to Charlton. Amari Bell's going to leave it, is he, for the centre-half Lloyd Jones to take? No, he's actually going to leave it for Thomas Kaminski. This is very near the halfway line. It's only 8 or 9 yards from the halfway line, but Kaminski's going to take it. The rain seems to be intensifying here in South Yorkshire as Kaminski prepares to take this kick. Sheffield United holding their line 25 yards from goal. It's a diagonal ball across the park looking for Lloyd Jones, but it's won back by Sheffield United, and Harmer giving chase down the left-hand side, trying to outpace his defender, but James Bree gets there ahead of him, rolls it back to his keeper. Heavy touch from Kaminski, and he keeps it away just from Callum O'Hare at the edge of his own penalty area, and Charlton clear their lines. That was a nervy moment from that first touch from the Charlton keeper Kaminski. 0-0.
Well, I think Bree would have been really cheesed off if Kaminski let that go underneath his foot. But to be fair, he should have put it to the right of Kaminski, and he's put it right across him.
Here's Charlie Kelman, edge of the area for Charlton, but he's dispossessed by Sidney Peck coming back from midfield to put him under pressure. But it still breaks for Charlton. And here is Sonny Carey. Right-hand side, inside right channel. Good ball into the area. McGuinness heads it half clear. Tidied up, though, once again by Carey. Now Burke looks to this right-hand side for Bree. Back again for Reece Burke. Bree now being faced up by a challenge from Harrison Burrows. Ball's gone out of play. Is that going to be a Sheffield United throw? It is. Cardiff City 0, Bradford City 1. That's the top 2 in League One playing each other in South Wales this afternoon. And Tommy Lee has given Bradford the lead at the Cardiff City Stadium. Bromley 1, Chesterfield 0 in League 2 as well this afternoon. Bromley, first defeat of the season last time out, but Michael Cheeks back amongst the goals again for Bromley with that opening goal.
Got my main stat of the day.
Oh, you've got one, have you? Go on then.
Bromley's Mitch Pinnock has played 127 passes into the opposition's penalty area, more than any other player in the top 4 divisions this season.
Chidozie Ogbeni into the area for Sheffield United, looking for an opener. Sidney Peck just lofts the ball to the far post. Harmer was there, headed up in the air by Burke, volleyed further clear for Charlton. Sheffield United should keep it in. Nathan Jones very animated, looking at Tyrese Campbell, his striker, on halfway. I think saying he should have been coming back and helping out his midfielders.
Yeah, I think he wants him to just latch on to Peck on that right-hand side when he just helped the ball into the 18-yard box. Just a little bit too floated from Peck, but from Charlton's point of view as well, when they're out of possession, they're actually leaving Tyrese Campbell and Kelman up front as a 2, so they still have that threat on the counter-attack.
0-0 though. We played 17 minutes on Talksport 2. Great run up to the area by Alex Matos for Sheffield United. Clips it out to the left-hand corner of the box for Burrows. Then it's knocked in field by Harmer for Peck, but Peck's got Charlton players swarming around him. Goes back out to the left-hand corner of the box. Harmer now picks it up a little bit deeper, swirls across in, volleyed clear by Bell for Charlton, and they'll go all the way back into the Sheffield United half of the field as Wickham, who sacked Mike Dodds, their manager in the week, having lost 3 of their last 4. They take the lead against Northampton through Daniel Harvey at Adams Park. 0-0 here at Bramall Lane on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. We've already brought you that goalless draw between Leicester City and Coventry City. So Coventry have maintained their unbeaten start to the Championship season under Frank Lampard. Free kick to Sheffield United on the far side of the field, bang on halfway. And it's knocked back to the captain, Japhet Tanganga. To his left, Harrison Burrows. Chips it down the left-hand side, asking Tyrese Campbell to give chase. But across came Lloyd Jones just to comfortably nod it out of play for a Sheffield United throw. 0-0.
Yeah, just see a little problem there for Sheffield United, especially down their left-hand side, because you've got Harmer playing of the left of the 3. He likes to sort of drift inside, so when it come out to Burrows. He's looking obviously for a left winger to roll it out to, and there's nobody there. So that's just a little problem that they've got. Maybe in possession, maybe Harmer's just got to, hug this left touchline a little bit more.
Callum O'Hare for Sheffield United on halfway. Lays it off to Siddy Peck. Cross it goes to Burrows. Heavy touch from him, but he was trying to find Tanganga, who gives it back to him. Tanganga in the middle of his own half. Floats a lovely pass out to the right-hand side, and that will allow Ben Godfrey to get away for the first time, really, for Sheffield United. Down that far right-hand side of the field. Had a torrid time, did Ben Godfrey, 8 days ago against Jaden Philogene, who scored that hat-trick for Ipswich in the 5-0 rout. And now Alex Matos has been brought down, and Ben Toner, our referee, has given Sheffield United a free kick just over halfway, 0-0.
Yeah, to be fair to Peck and Matos in the middle of the Sheffield United midfield, they move the ball, quite quickly. They're not drilling on it. It's all like sort of neat 1 and 2 touch. But as I say, just in those wide areas, they're just lacking a little bit at the moment.
Free kick then for Gus Harmer to take to the right of the centre circle. Charlton holding their defensive line level with the edge of the D. It's going to be the diagonal ball from right to left from Gus Harmer. McGuinness is an obvious target. That's who he's looking for. Goes into the box. It's flicked away from him, but there was a push on Lloyd Jones, the Charlton defender, and the Addicts will get themselves a free kick inside their own 18-yard box. Accrington Stanley take the lead at MK Dons in League 2. Isaac Sinclair for Stanley, who won their first league game last week. MK, no win in 4 for them going into today. No win at all this season for Sheffield United, let's not forget, with the lowest shot conversion rate in the Championship of just 2%. And their only goal came here when they were soundly beaten on opening weekend by Bristol City. Another game you heard live on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. Tanganga works the ball back to Michael Cooper. Left-footed clearance from the Sheffield United keeper. Good strong header on halfway for Charlton by Jones, but couldn't find a teammate in a light white and blue shirt, so it's drifted all the way back through to Cooper. Options right and left. He's gone short to his left for Japhet Tanganga.
You'll see again with Sheffield United, Harmer's gone into the centre circle alongside O'Hare, and you see just Reece Burke just looking at Harmer thinking, right, I'm the one who's got to release myself to go and track him down.
Run from Ogbenny from out to in into the centre of the half, works it out to Harrison Burrows, tried a first time cross into the area, deflects up in the air off Bree, but it makes it in the end a comfortable catch for Thomas Kaminski inside his 6-yard box. 21 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Sheffield United 0, Charlton Athletic 0 on Chris Wilder's third spell underway, as Sheffield United bossy stood there at the edge of his technical area, arms folded. Nathan Jones also at the edge of his technical area, but always like a coiled spring. Nathan Jones feels like he's ready to spring into action.
Well, Chris Wilder wasn't gone too long, was he, to be fair?
Oh dear.
That's the last one, that's all right.
No, it's never the last one. You say it's the last one and then you bring another one up. Don't think I didn't miss the cheese one.
That was a
for James Bree. I mean, that's route 1 for you.
Route 1.
That's really route 1 for you.
What's wrong with the modern day game, Dan? So everybody's just trying to play through the lines too much.
You're keeping it simple.
Exactly.
Burnley 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Jayden Anthony equalises for Burnley. Reading take the lead in League 1 at home to Leyton Orient. Jack Marriott, and Hull in the Championship at 1 up on Southampton through Kyle Joseph. It's 0-0 here as we reach the midway point of the first half in South Yorkshire, as the rain continues to fall steadily down on this playing surface. Well, Chris Wilder thinks there was a push on Harrison Burrows by James Bree, but the referee Ben Toner says no, that's a throw to Charlton Athletic. I guess the fortunate thing, we've been talking about, you know that Chris Wilder happy to come back. I guess it's fortunate for the Sheffield United board that he hadn't taken another position in that interim period of 3 months where he was out of the game.
Yeah, I think he probably would have said to himself that, the modern day manager, don't they have a little break, just to go sort of way and gather themselves, gather their thoughts. And maybe he just thought, that phone might be ringing, because he's not one who's particularly into the AI recruitment.
If he did, I'm getting the lottery numbers off him. If you thought that was going to happen, he's a soothsayer par excellence. That free kick for Charlton came to nothing. It was swung towards the edge of the area, but flicked away by the Sheffield United rearguard, and it'll be a throw for Charlton over on the far side in front of the family stand opposite where we're set. We're right at the back of the Tony Curry South stand, bang on the halfway line with a terrific view of what's going on in front of us. Charlton in their change strip of that light blue and white top with the sky blue shorts. Attacking the Kop end to our left-hand side. Tyrese Campbell going to win a corner, is he? He's fighting for possession with Ben Godfrey, and the ball's gone behind it. It's been given as a goal kick by the referee as Gillingham equalise at Newport County 1-1. Bradley Dack back at Gillingham for a second spell, equalises for them. 0-0 here, 24 minutes gone on Talksport 2. If you're just tuning into Game Day exclusive, live from Bramall Lane with me, Ian Danter, and Perry Groves, the former Arsenal title winner, talking you through what's going on here. Sheffield United under Chris Wilder worked the ball back to their keeper Peck, gave the ball back to Michael Cooper just as he was being closed down by Sonny Carey, who very nearly took the ball off Sidney Peckstone, who had a clear run through on goal if he'd done so. Here's Harrison Burrows giving the ball back to Japhet Tanganga. Back into the area for Cooper. Takes the touch, and then you could hear the ball being hoofed downfield by Cooper's right boot. Drops on halfway. Strong header from Coventry, keeping it away from Harmer. And then McGuinness guides the ball back to Cooper, and Sheffield United start again with their captain Tanganga bringing the ball over halfway. Good strong run from the centre half. Clips it out left to Burrows. Early ball driven along the deck into the area just behind Callum O'Hare. Tried to make something of it, but just couldn't hold on to the ball. And again, Charlton just say anywhere will do and hoof it downfield.
Yeah, I think Callum O'Hare's just got to sort of hold his run, just hang out a little bit more, because it was actually a good pick out from Harrison Burrows from this left back position. He just drilled it across the 18-yard box, and so Callum O'Hare just a little bit too eager to get in. Dance, you said there earlier that you could hear Cooper, the Sheffield United goalkeeper, actually clear the ball, because it has gone a little bit flat, hasn't it? It's gone a little bit quiet. So Nathan Jones, the Charlton athletic manager, be absolutely delighted, you know, getting into just gone the 25th minute where his goalkeeper Kaminski hasn't really had a save to make.
They've had nearly 2/3 of possession, Sheffield United, in this opening 26 minutes, but have only had one shot, and it wasn't on target. Ball with Gus Harmer on halfway, fires it along the deck into the feet of Callum O'Hare. Two former Coventry players combining. Now here's Harrison Burrows, left-hand corner of the box. Gives it back to Callum O'Hare. He'll just roll it back 10 yards or so for Tanganga. Now Harmer trying to feed it through the legs of a Charlton defender on this near side to find Harmer. He breaks for Burrows. Lovely ball teased into the area of Benny with a header, and quite clever goalkeeping from Kaminski. He was going to dive and save it, and then realised it was going well wide, knew where his posts were, and just left the ball alone to drift behind for that Charlton Athletic goal kick in front of their own supporters. 26 gone, 0-0 on Talksport 2.
Yeah, a little bit better rotation there from Sheffield United with Harmer and O'Hare just changing their positions, and again comes out to Harrison Burrows, gets his cross in. Ogbeni coming in for the right hand side because it was a looping
and
cross.
A foul, a late challenge there. Tyrese Campbell was brought down. Was that Connor Coventry with the challenge there in midfield? He'd actually won the ball. It was his ball to win, but in making the challenge to try and guide it out to his right back, he heavily caught Tyrese Campbell, and he's ended up getting a yellow card there, Connor Coventry, and it's going to be a free kick to Sheffield United when there was no apparent danger at that point for Charlton Athletic.
What he'd done, Connor Coventry, he'd actually said, Dan says he slid in, he's won the ball really well on the edge of the 18-yard box, but he knows what he's doing, and he's just left his six studs showing, and he's followed right the way through onto Tyrese Campbell.
So there's a bit of malice there, you think?
Yeah, I think what happened as well, Tyrese Campbell was very clever because he knew that it was coming in. You know, when you just jump and you ride the challenge, because if he keeps his foot planted, then he could have been in a bit of trouble. But a really dangerous position here for Sheffield United, just on the right-hand side of Charlton Athletic's penalty area.
Yeah, as we look down to our left-hand side, it's at the left-hand corner of the penalty box for this free kick. And Messrs Burrows and Harmer are standing over it. Exeter equalise at Stevenage in League One. Josh McGuinness scores again. And that's his fourth of the season for Exeter City to level it up at the Lamex. So what of this free kick for Sheffield United at 0-0? Burrows or Harmer to strike it. It will be Gus Harmer to go for goal, straight at Kaminski, holds on to it well, stays goalless.
Good contact from Gus Harmer just whipping it with his right foot around the wall. To be fair to Kaminski, he didn't gamble. You know, Dan, sometimes you see the goalkeeper didn't just move to their right-hand side. He stood exactly in the middle of the goal. Simple save.
Campbell's offside as he receives the ball from Sidney Peck. And so Charlton get themselves a free kick just ahead of their own 18-yard line. Charlton, well, after that win against Watford, they drew against Bristol City, lost at home to Leicester, lost at Cambridge in the Carabao Cup before the loss against QPR, and then they should have beaten Millwall, but for the red card that deprived them of Ramsey for the last 15 minutes, and it ended up being 1-1. Preston lead at Derby in the Championship. No winning 3 for North End, but Alfie Devine's given them the lead at Pride Park. Here is Tyrese Campbell for Charlton. Left-hand side of the area for the Addicts. Weaving himself into space, tries to get the shot away. It's blocked by Sidney Peck. Didn't really have the power behind it there, Charlton's Tyrese Campbell, but dealt with at the back by Sheffield United well enough. But another slightly nervy moment for the Blades.
Yeah, I think Ben Godfrey had a bit of PTSD there because he had shades of Philogene cutting in from...
Oh, ball given away on halfway by Charlton. Here goes Tyrese Campbell for Sheffield United at the other end. Into the box. Bell gets back goal sides and gets a nick on the ball, but Campbell still has it. Goes on the outside of Bell, who gets his foot in. Good defending from the former Blackburn man to concede a Sheffield United corner, 0-0.
So that Tyrese Campbell's a good player, D'Antoni, because it was on the tack on the left-hand side for Charlton Athletic.
Don't make it any worse for me than it already is.
And then it goes the other end, and then Tyrese Campbell gets the ball on the right-hand side. Again, he needs to have a little bit more positivity because he lets Bell get back and, you know, engage him where he should be gone on the outside of him.
Short corner from the right-hand side. It's given back to the edge of the area. Harmer on his right foot. Oh, it skims the roof of the net. And it took a deflection on its way over the bar as well. Another corner to Sheffield United as Harmer let fly from fully 25 yards out, 0-0.
Yeah, just really well worked from the right-hand side of Sheffield United. Take a little short corner. Harmer just makes sure he stays outside the D of the 18-yard box. As the ball comes out to him, he whips it with his right foot. In the end, it was a really, really good block. And then goes out for another corner for Sheffield United on their right.
Another short corner. And Chiedozie Ogbeni works it back to Alex Matos this time. Right-hand corner of the area. Burrows with the ball to the far post. Good defending by Amari Bell once more for Charlton. But Sheffield United win the seconds. And it's back with Gus Harmer. Right-footed ball into the box. Great defending by Lloyd Jones this time. Comes out to the edge of the box. Driven in by Burrows. And it screws away and out of play for a throw. Right by the corner flag on the right-hand side. As Sheffield United turn the screw. 0-0.
Yep, just trying to exert that little bit of pressure. You can hear the Sheffield United faithful getting behind their team. Shots are coming in, to be fair to Charlton. They're putting their bodies on the line. It was Sonny Carey got the first block on Harmer when they had the little short corner.
Now an attempted cross is blocked behind for a throw-in, not a corner. I thought it was a corner, but Ben Godfrey hit it against the defender. Brighton 2, Spurs 0. Yassin Ayari gets Brighton second, and Leeds equalise at Wolves through Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Is that his first goal for Leeds United? 1-1 at Molineux. 0-0 here at Bramall Lane. Ball downfield, asking Tyrese Campbell, no, the other one, Tyrese Campbell, sorry, to get after it. You see, this was always going to confuse me this afternoon, wasn't it? Having two of them out there.
Anyway, one of them getting dragged off, couldn't you? Really, for about half hour.
Plymouth down a bit. Plymouth 0, Peterborough 1. Meantime in League One, Jimmy J Morgan for the Posh, who won their first league game last time out. Back-to-back wins would do them the power of good after what's been a turbulent summer. Here is Charlton coming forward down the left-hand side, and an attempted clearance from McGuinness hit his own man Godfrey and just ricocheted out of play. That could so easily have fallen into the path of Tyrese Campbell, but it didn't. It's out of play for a throw. Now Campbell does pick it up for Charlton. Left-hand side, Josh Edwards faced up by Ogbeni, gives it back to Tyrese Campbell. Floats a lovely ball in. Jones went up for a header. Good defending by Tanganga. But Charlton's trying to pick up the pieces down the right-hand side, but Bree loses out to some brilliant, tenacious defending from Gus Harmer. And it's sent up to halfway. Good ball lofted out to the left-hand side by Tyrese Campbell for Sheffield United. Harmer spots Ogbeni in space, hits a fully 60-yard pass cross-field to find Ogbeni into the area right-hand side, lofts it to the far post over the head of O'Hare, and Charlton can get the ball clear. 0-0 it stays on Talksport 2 with 12 to half-time at Bramall Lane. Perry Groves.
That was the ball of the match so far from Harmer on this left-hand side, just pinging it out to Ogbeni on the right-hand side. Ogbeni gets his cross in, and what happened, Tyrese Campbell had gone near post, O'Hare had gone far post. They need to be the other way round. You need Tyrese Campbell coming in from the far post so he can get the head up. Say, like, you've got O'Hare, who's, 5'6", ball just goes over his head.
O'Hare clips it in field for Harmer, turns it round the corner. First time of asking, down the right-hand side of the box, looking for Ogbeni, but Charlton win it and bring it clear. They got 3-on-3 for a moment here, the Addicts, and here is Campbell down the left-hand side. Good defending from Ben Godfrey. Can he prevent the corner? He can, at the expense of a throw to Charlton down their left-hand side. 0-0.
Yeah, it was a good break from Charlton down there, left-hand side. Sonny Carey, I think he could have carried the ball a little bit further, Dance, because he made it easier for Ben Godfrey, because there could have been a 2v1 situation. Rolled it out to Tyrese Campbell, and then Ben Godfrey was able then just to run across him, just stop the ball going out for a corner, and a throw-in for Charlton Athletic over on their left-hand side, which is the long throws are now on vogue.
Josh Edwards is the man, former Dunfermline left-back. There was an option of a short throw to Amari Bell, but now he is going long into the area, but it'll hit the first defender, Ogbeni, but it's worked back out by Charlton to Josh Edwards, who can now toss the ball back into the area. Carey went up for a header, great defending Tanganga, and then an attempted cushion volley from the edge of the D from Connor Coventry that he got all wrong, as you could hear from the way around us. Sheffield United have a goal kick at the Kop end. The rain continues to teem down here at Bramall Lane. Both Chris Wilder and Nathan Jones not going with any brollies, although Alan Nill, trusted assistant of Chris Wilder's, got the baseball cap on, which looks absolutely soaked. Looks like a matte black baseball cap.
Well, it's the men in black, isn't it?
He is, yeah. All of them are. Slim in colour, Perry. It's a slim in colour.
What are you trying to say?
Tyrese Campbell trying to get away down the left-hand side. Godfrey slips slightly, allows Campbell to bring the ball infield across to Sonny Carey, 30 yards out, checks the ball onto his left, gets the shot away, blocked by Tanganga, comes out to Bree. Bree hits the ball against Harrison Burrows and wins a corner kick at the Kop end for Charlton Athletic. 0-0.
Really good defensive play from Harrison Burrows there. Ball come out to Sonny Carey on the edge of the 18-yard box, just checked back onto his left foot. Harrison Burrows got the first block in, then just came out again to the right-hand side. Got another decent block in. Corner for Charlton Athletic on their right-hand side.
And it's going to be Josh Edwards to take it. The left-backs come across to this near side where the Tony Curry stand meets the Kop for a left-footed in swinging corner for Charlton. A lot of Addicts players beyond the far post. A lot of pushing and shoving. In it comes from Edwards. It does go deep to the far stick. Headed out, or at least an attempted header out, and Burrows playing on the right-hand side for the moment for Sheffield United. Holds onto the ball. Very intelligent ball in field to allow Matos to scurry up to the halfway line to try and launch a counter-attack. Feeds it out to Harmer, left-hand side. Ball in field for Peck, as Sheffield United now have the ball inside the Charlton half of the field. Square ball from Peck to find McGuinness. Now out to the right-hand side, and Chidozie Ogbeni. Ogbeni coming in field from that right-hand touch line. Not quite at full pace. Finds Burrows in the centre of the half. Good quick ball out to Tanganga. Cutting in on his right foot. Went for goal. Always curling well over the top and wide. Goal kick to Charlton Athletic with 8 minutes to half-time on Talksport 2. It's still 0-0, Perry Groves.
Yeah, again, just a little bit of frustration there from Tanganga. Just find himself in inside left position. If you just got your centre-half on the ball there, you want your centre-half just playing it out wide and coming out to Harrison Burrows and getting himself in the 18-yard box. Goes for the worldie, tries to bend it inside, commits its top left-hand corner.
You've got to hand it to Gillingham and Gareth Ainsworth, unbeaten since he got there late last season, and they're now 2-1 up at Newport County. Johnny Smith turning it round for the Gills, who had trailed early on in that game at Rodney Parade. Here at Bramall Lane, it's 0-0. It's 7 minutes now to half-time. Charlton in possession with Connor Coventry. Booked a little earlier in the half for a poor challenge on Tyrese Campbell. Now it goes out to the left-hand side, and the other Tyrese Campbell for Charlton into the area. Right-footed shot blocked on its way to goal by McGuinness, and that needed to be made because that could have been screwing its way beyond Cooper into the bottom corner. Important block from the Sheffield United centre-half, 0-0.
Yeah, it was really good defensive play from McGuinness, because Tyrese Campbell on that left-hand side for Charlton Athletic cuts inside Ben Godfrey, gets it on his right foot. He's trying to bend it low, into Cooper's left-hand post.
Oh, imagine the atmosphere at the London Stadium. West Ham 0, Crystal Palace 1. JP Mateta gets the goal for Crystal Palace. And Walsall 1, Tranmere 1 in League 2. Joe Ironside equalises for Tranmere, who've got no win in 4. Palace unbeaten. It's now 2-1 Leeds as well in the Premier League. At Molineux, they were a goal down. They're now 2-1 up, are Leeds United. No win in 4 for them. Here's Sidney Peck for Sheffield United. Gets to the byline right-hand side. Faced up by 2 Charlton defenders. Trying to make some room to get a cross in. Tries to get the cross in, but it's blocked well by Greg Doherty, the Charlton captain. But it's still with Sheffield United down the far right-hand side of the field. It's with Chidozie Ogbene. He's got 2 Charlton defenders standing in front of him, so he's forced to go back towards the halfway line. It was Anton Stack that got that second goal for Leeds United. Chesterfield have equalised at Bromley. Armando Dobra makes it 1-1 in that League 2 encounter, and Charlton end up getting a free kick after a push. And so we've got goals everywhere in the Premier League. Brighton 2 up on Spurs. Burnley and Nottingham Forest 1 apiece. As I've just mentioned, Palace going ahead at the London Stadium at West Ham, and Leeds turning it around 2-1 up at Molineux against Wolves. Perry Groves is with me for the afternoon here at Bramall Lane at 0-0.
Yeah, just looking both teams, especially in the final third, they're just lacking that little bit of confidence, Dance, and that little bit of sort of creativity. You can tell, obviously, that they're both struggling to score goals this season.
Now here's Tyrese Campbell down the left-hand side for Charlton, drives the ball into the area, only half cleared by Tanganga, comes out to Doherty, back out to Campbell left wing, being faced up by Ogbene. Edwards will send the ball back into the box, lovely cross, cleared away on the half volley in the nick of time for Sheffield United. Charlton trying to get the seconds. James Bree after it down to this near touchline. In slides Harmer, and it's hit. Oh, it's been given as a foul by Gus Harmer, has it? It is, and a yellow card for Gus Harmer. It had been originally given as a throw to Sheffield United by the assistant, but instead, referee Bentona says that's a yellow card for the returning Gus Harmer, who is not at all happy with that decision. Ends up being a free kick for Charlton Athletic at 0-0.
Dad, I think it was more the action from Gus Harmer, because you said there he just slid it on James Bree, and it looked like it was a really good challenge. Worst ways out, it was going to be a throw-in. Obviously, Bentona referee gives a free kick, and Gus Harmer made his feelings known, shall we say. When you sort of throw your hands towards the referee, put your arms up in the air, and that's why he's got himself a yellow card. So a free kick to Charlton Athletic down the Sheffield United left, midway point of the half. Tight to this near touchline. James Bree to take it into the area, headed out by Peck. Comes out to Bell. Bell will loft it back out to Bree on this right-hand side for Charlton. Just hold up by Callum O'Hare. Good ball back into the box from Coventry. Header at the far post. Brilliant save by Cooper, and somehow is essayed out. Lloyd Jones got the header in. Magnificent one-handed save from Cooper, and the follow-up could not be turned in, and Sheffield United survive. 0-0 it stays. Can they counter-attack? Get Perry Grove's thoughts on that chance and that brilliant save in just a moment. In fact, it's been toe-poked out of play for a Sheffield United throw. Superb goalkeeping by Michael Cooper to keep it level. Dance, it was a brilliant header from Jones as well, coming in at the far post. It looks like it was going to nestle in the top left-hand corner. And that was a massive Inspector Gadget left arm that came out there from Cooper. Just clawed it away with his left palm. That was absolutely world-class from Cooper.
That's the Michael Cooper we saw a lot last season, rather than the Michael Cooper we've seen this particular season, I would say. Colchester 0, Bristol Rovers 1 in League 2. Go on, say it.
Offside.
Thank you. It's not. It's counted. Fabrizio Caven. Norwich lead Wrexham by a goal to 0 at Carrow Road in the Championship. Jack Stacey. And Barnet lead Grimsby in League 2 by a goal to Nandi Offerbor, putting the Bees ahead at the Hive. Rain really thumping down. Spurs have got one back at Brighton 2-1. Richarlison as they approach half-time at the Amex. But it's still 0-0 here at Bramall Lane. And there have been one or two warning shots sent across Chris Wilder's side's bows here in this first half, Perry Groves. Not just that header that was so brilliantly saved. Lloyd Jones had placed the header where he thought was absolutely perfection, but Michael Cooper had other ideas. But there have been other skirmishes in and around the Sheffield United box in this first half.
Yep, especially on the counter-attack, where you've had Kelman and Tyrese Campbell on that left-hand side for Charlton Athletic, had a couple of 1v1s, didn't really have the courage of convictions. But you say Charlton will be absolutely delighted with the way they've performed, obviously going with the three centre-halves, change of formation. I can't remember Kaminsky Dance having a real difficult save to make. He had the one from Gus Harmer's free kick, didn't he, which just went into his midriff, didn't have to dive. Yeah.
Here is Tyrese Campbell giving chase down the left-hand side. He'll get there ahead of Tanganga as well. Charlton coming forward then. Through their number 7. Tries to jink inside Tanganga, does so. Gets to the left-hand corner of the penalty area. Now he's held up. Works it back into midfield for Coventry. And now left-hand side of the area. Bit of space for Kelman, trying to loft it into the far post for Carey. Headed only half clear by Sheffield United. Josh Edwards left-hand side now. Works it back in field for Connor Coventry. Centre of the Sheffield United half. Attempted ball forward. Hits an arm. And that'll be a free kick to Charlton Athletic. Midway point of the Sheffield United half. It hit Callum O'Hare's arm. They could go left or right here with this set piece. No, Charlton Athletic.
I think it hit the referee.
Oh, hit the referee. Do forgive me.
To be fair, he closed the ball down quite sharply.
He did.
When Coventry was in possession.
Campbell onside down the left-hand side of the area for Charlton. Lifts the ball to the far post. Bree heads it back down. Volley goal was by Carey. Blocked on its way to go by Tanganga. Down goes Tyrese Campbell in the area. No penalty. Goal kick given. And we've moved in to 1 minute of minimum added time at the end of this first half, where the score remains Sheffield United 0, Charlton Athletic 0.
Yeah, that's a brilliant block from Tanganga as the ball just dropped out there on the edge of the 18-yard box to Sonny Carey. He gets a really good right foot volley in. Then Tanganga just makes sure he puts his body on the line, gets the block in, take a couple of ricochets. Unfortunately, Sheffield United goes out for a goal kick.
To be taken by Michael Cooper. Notts County get the lead against Crawley Town in League 2. Scott Robertson at Meadow Lane. And that 1 minute of minimum added time is almost up already here. Charlton have been awarded a throw down the left-hand side. They want to take it quickly. And a bit of housery from Ben Godfrey, keeping the ball away from Josh Edwards, who wanted to take that throw as quickly as he possibly could. Plenty to ponder for both managers when they head back down the tunnel. Leeds 3-1 up at Wolves. Noah Okafor with a third for Leeds. And there goes the half-time whistle at Bramall Lane, and somewhat subdued from those wearing the red and white of Sheffield United sitting around the stands here. Chris Wilder's return as manager. It's been somewhat lukewarm on a very wet afternoon in South Yorkshire. They've rarely troubled Thomas Kaminsky in the Charlton goal in the first half, save for a Gus Harmer free kick. Certainly Charlton Athletic have had the better half chances, and indeed gilt-edged chances, the best of all. Across from the right-hand side, firmly planted header by Lloyd Jones up from the back, but a super save from Michael Cooper, turning back the clock to his brilliant goalkeeping form last season for the Blades to keep things level at the break. But both Chris Wilder and Nathan Jones will have plenty to say to their players before the restart. Full second half commentary to come, remember, at the break at Bramall Lane. It is Sheffield United 0, Charlton Athletic 0.
Ian Danter, thank you very much. Let's get the first half thoughts then with Perry Groves. And Perry, after that huge tifo was unveiled of Wilder before kick-off, there were probably expectations from a lot of those fans there, Sheffield United-wise, where their expectations would have heightened due to the return of the new but old manager. Yeah, it feels like it's quietened down, probably because Charlton have had a fair bit of the game in this first half. Yeah,
very much so. Obviously, now they changed their formation. As we said, they've gone to like 5 at the back with Burke, Jones and Bell as centre halves. And apart from the first 2 or 3 minutes, where there was the heightened expectation there from the Sheffield United fans, they wanted a lot of energy and positivity from their team. After about 10 minutes, it just went a bit quiet, went a little bit flat. So Nathan Jones, the Charlton Athletic manager, will be absolutely delighted because his team was, quelled that expectation. And I'm just looking at Sheffield United now, and you've got Harmer and O'Hare, obviously 2 very gifted, footballers. But I think they occupy the same space too often. Sort of Harmer wants to be the 10, and O'Hare's playing at the moment, and then they're playing very close together. There's no natural width on this left-hand side because Harmer keeps coming in a little bit inverted. So it's been a bit easier for the Charlton Athletic back five because everything's been in front of them. You know, there's been no sort of runs in behind. There's been a couple of crosses in from Ogbeni on the right-hand side. But other than that, Kaminsky in the Charlton Athletic goal, he's had one save to make, and that was from Harmer's free kick where he bent it round the wall and it went straight to him. So Sheffield United haven't really exerted any pressure, and you could just tell that they're just lacking that little bit of confidence, which is understandable because they've lost obviously the first 6 games.
Yeah, very much so. And yeah, it's been a game of few shots on target, just one apiece for both sides. I know it's only early days, and you mentioned there that maybe there's a bit of a lack of confidence for the Sheffield United team, but have you seen any difference with how Wilder is setting them up, or not just personnel wise but just how they're playing? Is it any different to what we've seen previously?
I think they've just got a bit better shape when they're out of possession, you know, when they lose control of the game. To be fair, Peck and Matos have, you know, kept it ticking over quite nice in that central midfield area, but when they lose possession, their recovery runs are a lot quicker and they get themselves back into that sort of team shape. So you can tell they've worked on the defensive side of it, but I'm just looking at Chris Wilder because this needs a spark. You know, when you're looking something to ignite like the fans, I'm looking maybe Louis Barry, you know, he can come and play in the wide areas. As say, even switching over O'Hare and Harmer, put Harmer in as, you know, as the 10 and say to O'Hare, you come out and you hug the left sort of left side touchline. But yeah, he needs to do something. I mean, Lavi's team talk, he'll sit him down, he'll say that, you know, he's pleased with it. There's nothing to do with the lack of effort from both teams, you know. They're all putting everything in, but because of the confidence lacking in both teams, there's just not that zip, you know, and that spark in sort of the final third.
All right, Perry, for now, thank you very much. Of course, we'll return to Bramall Lane for the second half, but let's preview tonight's Premier League action as Manchester United host Chelsea, and we're now joined by Talksport reporter Mickey Gray to look ahead to that game at Old Trafford. Good afternoon to you, Mickey. How are you?
A very wet Old Trafford,
no.
Natalie. I have to tell you, is absolutely teeming it down. But yeah, what a big occasion this has certainly turned out to be for Ruben Amorim this afternoon.
Yeah, well, that was going to be my first question. Just how big a game do you think this is going to be?
Well, I think he's running out of time. I think everybody has to agree with that. I think when you go into his press conferences, as I do every single Friday, he's still showing that confidence that he showed when he walked through the door. But when you look at the results that he's got at Manchester United, only 8 wins in his tenure in the Premier League. I mean, 16 defeats and 7 draws, 31 points, which everybody's seen over the last week and a half. I think it's been on TV so many times, and we've talked about it a lot on Talksport. He has to turn around quickly, but I don't know if this system's going to work, whether it's the players are just not good enough, but things need to turn.
I mean, you're right. The system has been a long, old conversation ever since Ruben Amorim was appointed as the Manchester United manager. This reluctance of him to change. And the fact that he keeps saying, well, I'm not going to change my style, but if anything's going to happen, you're going to have to change the man. I mean, it seems quite drastic, but he's certainly not going to be walking away, is he?
And I also think there's a time and place for jokes. And, we know that Sir Jim Ratcliffe's been up this week and they've had conversations. And he actually joked and turned around and said he's been up here to give me a new contract. And everybody was just in stitches in the press room. And, you know, if you're winning every single week, yeah, of course you can turn around, you can have those jokes. But it's all about the pressure. There's eyes on Ruben Amorim now. And he said he's had a good week working with the players. I don't know what changes are going to be made today. We're going to find out around about 4:30. But I think the 11 that he picks today has to be an 11 that he knows he can rely on, because the Chelsea side, albeit they lost in midweek to Bayern Munich, they've done very well in the Premier League. They're unbeaten, so it's a tough one. It really is.
Yeah, they are unbeaten, but they come into this off the back of 2 winless games, and they were 2-1 up against Brentford. You knew I was going to bring that up, Mickey. But heading into the final few minutes of that game before the home side equalised to make it 2-2. What have you made of this Chelsea side now in this season with Enzo Maresca?
I think they've done well. I really do. I know there's certain people or individuals who think that Chelsea can challenge for the title this season. I think that's maybe a little stretch too far. When you look at Liverpool's squad and how they started this season, I think Arsenal have certainly improved. There's no question of that. I think they probably have to be the 2 favourites this season. But when you're fighting on all fronts like Chelsea are, Champions League football, domestically as well as the Premier League, they've got a very good squad. But I just still think that they're going to be a little bit short when it comes to challenging for the title, maybe even Champions League football as well. But I do like watching Chelsea play. I think they're impressive, they're good on the eye, they create chances. I think they've had more shots on target in the Premier League this season than any other side. So I think it kind of shows what style of football they want to play, and I think we'll see more of it this afternoon against Manchester United.
Well, hopefully it's a cracker. Mickey, thank you. A reminder, we'll have updates on Manchester United against Chelsea during the game day phone-in on Talksport from 5:30, so get your calls into Jamie O'Hara and Jermaine Pennant on 03717 223344 to have your say on all of today's action. Next here on Talksport 2, the second half between Sheffield United and Charlton, and before that I'll bring you all the half-time classifieds from the Premier League and EFL.
It's the totally immersive football experience.
Right foot in. Oh, what a goal!
EFL Live on Talksport 2.
There's a Peugeot SUV for everyone and every need.
Sport for choice. I like it.
From the compact 2008, the stylish 3008, to the roomy new 5008.
Weekend adventures, here we come.
Now available on 0% APR with a minimum 20% deposit.
Sounds like a 100% match.
Book a test drive on Peugeot.co.uk. Offer ends 30th September 2025. Personal contract purchase subject to status and availability. T's and C's 18+. Excludes plug-in hybrids. Stellantis Financial Services.
You want the look. Clean, close, sharp. But you don't have time to play around. Meet the Pitbull X5 series from Skullshaver.com. Our best-selling shaver. Now even better. Smooth blades, stronger motor, better grip. Built for speed. Designed for skin. No mess, no mirror, no drama. 90 seconds and you're done. Fresh, confident, ready. Pitbull X5 range by Skullshaver. Available now at skullshaver.com.
From the case files of Miss Maureen 118212, the case of the replacement rodent.
A woman called asking for the number of a pet shop. She needed a new hamster before her son returned from school. I didn't ask what happened to the original hamster. Best not to know some things.
Maureen 118212. For directory inquiries, call Maureen on 118212. Calls cost $2.50 per call plus 75p a minute with a minimum 1 minute charge plus your phone company's access charge.
It's the last chance to get yourself a ticket for tonight's Lotto draw.
It could be you.
Lotto from the National Lottery. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
Calling all little wildlife explorers. Playmobil is now in Happy Meal. Look, is that a seal? And a sea turtle? They've been around for millions of years, just like me. Which will your little ones discover? Some fun, some food, it's all inside this Happy Meal. Until the 14th of October from 11 a.m, Playmobil comprised toys only, subject to availability.
With LV, I can get my car insurance from just £349. Just the price I'm after right now. And if I'm hit by an uninsured driver, I won't lose my no-claim discount, because insurance is simple when it's me and LV.
No wonder we're rated excellent on Trustpilot. Get your quote today at lv.com.
10% of new customers pay £349 or less November 2024 to April 2025.
Uninsured driver promise is non-fault accident only. Other vehicle and driver details required. LV General Insurance is part of Allianz.
Turn on NordVPN. It will help you avoid digital threats and will encrypt your online traffic too. Visit NordVPN.com now. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Get the UK's best sports radio station in one downloadable application. With the Talksport app on your mobile phone, you'll never be bored or on your own.
The Talksport app. Hear, watch and scroll unbeatable content from the world's biggest sports radio station. Whenever you want, wherever you want. Available from the App Store now. Terms and conditions apply. Join the Football Collective.
The cool, clinical finish.
EFL Live on Talksport 2.
This is Game Day. Halftime Classifieds.
Yes, you're listening to Talksport 2, the home of the EFL. I'm Natalie Sawyer. Let's bring you your halftime classified scores, shall we? Starting with
Premier League.
In the early kick-off, it finished 2-1 to Liverpool against Everton in the Merseyside derby. But at the break, Brighton lead Tottenham 2-1. It's 1-1 between Burnley and Nottingham Forest. Crystal Palace leads West Ham by 1-0 at the London Stadium. And Leeds have come from behind at the break to lead Wolves at Molineux by 3-1.
Sky Bet Championship.
3 games earlier in the Championship saw Lyndon Dykes score a late winner for Birmingham against Swansea. Leicester and Coventry finished goalless, live on Talksport 2. And QPR were 1-0 winners at home to Stoke. At the break, Blackburn and Ipswich are goalless. Preston lead 1-0 at Derby. Hull are 1-0 leaders against Southampton. That's the same for the home side Norwich against Wrexham. Sheffield Wednesday are leading 1-0 at Portsmouth, and it is goalless here on Talksport 2 between Sheffield United and Charlton.
Sky Bet League One.
In the early kickoffs, Blackpool beat Barnsley by 1-0. Bolton Wanderers were huge winners over Wigan. 4-1 they won at home. And Lincoln City won 3-1 at home to Luton. At the break, Bradford City lose 2-0 at Cardiff. It's goalless between Doncaster and AFC Wimbledon. Huddersfield and Burton Albion also goalless. Peterborough United lead 1-0 at Plymouth, and it's goalless between Port Vale and Mansfield. Reading are 1-0 up against Leyton Orient. No goals between Rotherham and Stockport. 1-1 it is between Stevenage and Exeter, and Wickham lead by 1-0 to Northampton Town.
Sky Bet League Two.
In the 2 early kickoffs, Cambridge United beat Fleetwood Town 2-1, and Harrogate Town were 2-0 winners over Shrewsbury. At the break, Barnet lead by 1-0 against Grimsby. No goals between Barrow and Crewe. Bromley and Chesterfield are 1-1 at the break. Oldham lead Cheltenham by 1-0 away, and that's the same for Bristol Rovers, who are 1-0 up at Colchester. Accrington Stanley are have also taken the lead at the break against the MK Dons. They lead that one by 1-0. Gillingham are 3-1 up at Newport County. Notts County lead by 1-0 at home to Crawley. Salford are 2-0 up against Swindon at home, and Walsall are also 2-1 up against Tranmere at home as well. OK, so that wraps up the halftime scores in the Premier League and EFL as well. But let's quickly bring you some reaction to that goalless draw that we brought you between Leicester and Coventry here on Talksport 2. And after the game, the Coventry boss, Frank Lampard, said he was happy with the point.
I think it's a fair point. I think for a good opposition, we had some moments. We had moments of control. They had some moments, which they were always going to probably have with the quality of player they got at the top of the pitch. Yeah, so I'm pretty pleased. It's a different type of game. Our performance levels have been really high so far. We've controlled a lot of games in lots of ways. Today was never going to be that way because of the opposition. Lots of Premier League players, a good team. And I thought we dealt with stuff defensively really well. Were we slightly off it with our attacking game in transition moments? We were not quite as clean as we've been, yeah. But if that happens, can happen, then don't lose the game. So quite happy.
Coventry face Birmingham next weekend in another Midlands derby, whereas Leicester are at West Brom for another derby for them. But 2 teams who will hope to be involved in the promotion push come the end of the season. As things stand, though, at Sheffield United, at Bramall Lane, I should say, it's goalless between Sheffield United and Charlton, 2 teams who are struggling at the wrong end of the table. Let's take you back to your commentary team, shall we, to see if we can maybe see a breakthrough in this one and whether or not Dance can get the Tyrese Campbell situation solved. Perry Groves is alongside Dance.
Yeah, you see, you wouldn't want that, would you, Natalie? It's a nightmare.
It's Campbell and Campbell.
Campbell. I will get it right at least once this half. I'm determined to. Anyway, thank you, Natalie. The Sheffield United players have just emerged from the tunnel. All of the outfield substitutes have been passing the ball about between themselves. The Blade substitutes, that is. Not many evidence of Charlton substitutes warming up, but the Addicts players are just emerging from the tunnel down beneath us, and the rain continues to thunder down. Perry's a bit worried about his walk back to the train station in a bit, but
plays havoc when we hear this drizzle.
A reminder that Perry is going to be at his beloved Emirates Stadium tomorrow.
Don't think about it. Do you mind? Just let it go. Wait till tomorrow.
Along with Sam Matterface and Alex Crook as part of Game Day Live for Sunday afternoon. Lots of live games in the Premier League and the WSL for the lads to keep you in touch with. And you're on air from 1:30, aren't you, on Sunday afternoon through to tea time?
Yep, 1:30 through to 6:30.
Well, they're playing the John Denver song once again. And Sheffield United will be attacking their beloved Kop end in this second half as we look from the back of the Tony Curry South stand. The Kop to our right, Bramall Lane to our left. The Bramall Lane end is where the Charlton fans are, and that's where Charlton will be attacking in their chain strip of white and light blue shirts, sky blue shorts and white socks. Sheffield United in the traditional red and white stripes with the black shorts and socks. No changes from either manager, and Sidney Peck gets us back underway on Talksport 2, rolling it back to Michael Cooper, who made that wonderful one-handed save to deny Lloyd Jones an opener for Charlton, and it's out of play for a throw. So whilst the ball is out of play, I'll run you through the lineups. For Sheffield United, it's Cooper in goal, Godfrey, Tanganga, McGuinness, Burrows, Peck, Matos, Ogbene, O'Hare, Harmer and one of the Campbells. That's the Campbell. And then for Charlton, Kaminsky in goal, Bree, Jones, Burke, Bell and Edwards. And then Doherty, Coventry and Carey with Campbell alongside Kelman in attack. There you go, I got that one right.
I thought Jamie O'Hara was sat next to me for a minute.
Oh, Spurs are back. Well, they're not actually. They're
No, not
losing
today, they're
2-1 at Brighton. You can poke Jamie with sticks if that result stays the same at the Amex on the game day phone-in over on Talksport about an hour from now. Jermaine Pennant's going to be alongside Jamie taking your calls tonight. Jermaine, of course, will be delighted that his old side Liverpool won the Merseyside derby. Ball's in the arms of Thomas Kaminsky, the goalkeeper for Charlton, joined in July the Belgian after a couple of years at Luton, but he first came to our prominence in English football with a good spell at Blackburn Rovers.
There's quite a lot of ex-Luton players out there today.
There is, yeah, and there's a few on the bench as well. Tahith Chong's waiting in reserve, for example, for Sheffield United, should Chris Wilder want to call on him. He's just telling his players to get up 10 yards up the pitch as they want to throw left-hand side. Callum O'Hare puts the ball across the face of goal. Awkward clearance by Bell. Breaks for Matos. Comes out to the edge of the area. Peck with a drive wastefully over the top. Big chance early in this second half. Tyrese Campbell with a shot blocked. It came out to Sidney Peck and a rush of blood to the head for the number 42. And he drove it high, wide and not particularly handsome. And it ends up being a Charlton goal kick. But that was Charlton Athletics' own making that chance for the Blades, 0-0.
Yeah, very much so. When he come up to Campbell, he just needs to lift his shot. And what he's done is, again, he's just scaffed it. It's just that lack of sort of confidence, that lack of conviction. In the end, it was a really good block from Amari Bell, just negated the danger. But there's a big chance there for Sheffield United. Say Tyrese Campbell just didn't look particularly confident.
Godfrey lets the ball bounce just outside his own penalty area, and Tyrese Campbell very nearly onto it. Instead, it's out of play for a throw taken quickly by Edwards. For Charlton down this left-hand side, trying to slide it into the feet of Campbell, but it's out of play. I can't keep that going. I really can't. It just feels unnatural.
Should we just go Sheffield United's Tyrese Campbell?
I think that's what I'm going to have to do.
Tyrese Campbell.
Yeah. Here is McGuinness. Playing the ball up to the centre circle, flicked on by Harmer. He found Campbell, but it's Reece Burke tidying up. And now Kaminsky swings the ball out to the right-hand side, looking for James Bree, but it's over his head. He goes out of play for a Sheffield United throw. Keep you in touch with goals going in elsewhere around the leagues this afternoon. Leeds went 3-1 up right on half-time at Wolves. Crystal Palace lead at West Ham. Brighton 2, Spurs 1, and Burnley 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Those are the Premier League scorelines at the moment. And in the Championship, Preston lead at Derby, Hull, Norwich, Sheffield Wednesday all lead as well. Other games are goalless. Cooper, the Sheffield United keeper, puts a right-footed clearance downfield. Header back towards the Sheffield United penalty area by Greg Doherty, the Charlton captain, who had 4 years at Hull City before a free transfer in July of last year to Charlton Athletic. Scored his first goal, he's 4 goals in his 50-odd appearances. Former Rangers and Hibs midfielder Greg Doherty. And he might get on the end of this throw. No, it's lobbed downfield for Charlton by Edwards. Campbell brings it down, chests it down for Charlie Kelman, waiting for his first goal in the new shirt. West Ham equalise against Palace. Jared Bowen, the man most likely for West Ham, equalises there. And Sheffield Wednesday 2-0 up at Portsmouth. Barry Bannon with the first, George Brown with the second. And MK Dons equalise against Accrington Stanley in League 2, Alex Gilby. Ball up to the edge of the area for Charlton, flicked on by Kelman. Burrows lets it bounce, but he knew that the offside flag was up. That looked incredibly calm for a moment from the Sheffield United left-back, but he'd heard the referee's whistle and I hadn't. Free kick to the Blaze, 0-0.
And half the Sheffield United fans hadn't even heard that sharp intake of breath as it bounced. And obviously Burrows just looked over his right shoulder and he saw the assistant on the far side from us, Dance put his flag up and just casually just caught it and went, what you're panicking for? I've made sure I've kept a high line. He's offside.
Cooper's free kick downfield for Sheffield United, straight onto the head of Jones. His header goes up to halfway. Godfrey, the other player wearing number 5 out there, heads it forward. A foul on Chidozie Ogbene gives Sheffield United a free kick. Wrexham equalise at Norwich in the Championship. Josh Windass making it 1-1. Harmer caught late there by Amari Bell as Sheffield United tried to work that free kick quickly. I don't think there's going to be a yellow card administered here to Amari Bell. The referee, I think, just content to give the free kick here, although Chris Wilder certainly wanted more punishment for the Charlton number 17. Free kick it is to the Blades. At 0-0, we played 5 minutes of the second half on Talksport 2.
Yeah, sometimes Bell just goes in a little bit too rashly there. Exactly what he did on Harmer. Quite rightly, the referee Ben Toner gives the free kick. Just about 35 yards out.
Just past the midway point of the half to the right of centre. Again, Burrows and Harmer are the two players standing over the set piece. A two-man wall, a good 5 or 6 yards ahead of the 18-yard line, is set from Charlton. And there's a clutch of players over on the left-hand side of the field, the far side from us, looking to get on the end of Harmer, who's going to send the ball into the area, headed up in the air by Lloyd Jones. Good defending. Campbell brings it down at the edge of the box with his back to goal, being forced away from the penalty area by Charlton defenders, and it's worked back to the halfway line. Harmer, who stayed deep. Oh, that's a heavy touch, and that allows Sonny Carey to take it off his toe. Carey finds Tyrese Campbell for Charlton down the left-hand side, looking to outpace Harmer. Harmer gets back, goal side, wrenches his foot round the ball and wins it back.
Dance, that's one thing that wasn't happening under Ruben Sellés. Harmer gave the ball away in Charlton's half, and as Tyrese Campbell broke down their left-hand side for Charlton, Gus Harmer broke his neck to get himself back, run fully 50-60 yards, got his body across, ended up just taking the ball off Tyrese Campbell's toes. You could hear the massive cheer and applause from Sheffield United fans.
Now Callum O'Hare steals the ball away from Sonny Carey. Sheffield United down the right-hand side with Ogbene. Tried to flick it past Joe Edwards, but got too much on the flick, and it just skimmed through to Thomas Kaminski. Now Connor Coventry, the captain of Charlton Athletic, former West Ham player, was at Rotherham on loan not too far from here a couple of years ago. Ball's back with Kaminski once again. What have you spotted, Perry Groves? You're pointing.
Looking at Charlton Athletic when they're in possession now, they've gone a bit Ruben Amorim with the 3-4-2-1 sort of system, where you have Tyrese Campbell and Sonny Carey. Tyrese Campbell to the left of Charlie Kelman, Sonny Carey to the right. But then when they're out of possession, then they leave the two up front.
As long as they consulted the Pope before doing that, then that's all right. That's what Ruben Amorim refused to do.
I think the Pope probably, I think he's a more 4-4-2. I think he's more basic, don't you, in his formation?
I still think the Pope is the Polish one that was on Spitting Image all the time when I was growing up. I've lost track. Here's Chidozie Ogbene. Across the edge of the area for Harmer for Sheffield United. Shot blocked by Burke. Burrows will let the ball drift behind. It's a corner kick at the Kop end. Sheffield United's fourth of the game, but they're first in front of those supporters away to our right. 0-0.
Yeah, just dropping a little bit deep. Charlton Athletic on the edge of the 18-yard. But what they've done really well, Dance, every time there's been a shot that's come in, they've got the block in, whether it's Jones, whether it's Bell, whether it's Burke, put their bodies on line, corner for Sheffield United over on their left-hand side.
To be taken by Harmer, right-footed in-swinger, where the family stand meets the Kop end. What sort of delivery is it? It's deep beyond the far post, and there's Joe Edwards gone down in the area, got pushed by a Sheffield United player, free kick. Doncaster Rovers take the lead against AFC Wimbledon in League One. Owen Bailey for Donny, and Leyton Orient have equalised at Reading. That's 1-1 now at the Select Carlton. Idris El Mazouni with the equaliser for the O's. And Bradford, wow, I mentioned it was the top two in League One meeting at the Cardiff City Stadium. It's now Cardiff 0, Bradford 3. Josh Nerfield for the Bantams, just one league loss all season, and this could end Cardiff's unbeaten run at 10 this afternoon. What a performance from Graham Alexander's Bradford this afternoon.
That's their accumulator buster, that, isn't it?
Certainly is. Well, I wouldn't have touched that game with the barge pole in terms of betting. with the top two facing each other, but it's definitely going the way of the side from West Yorkshire. Here, the side from South Yorkshire are being held by Charlton Athletic. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Bit of afters between Tyrese Campbell of Charlton and Ben Godfrey of Sheffield United, and Campbell was the main aggressor, just pushed Godfrey in the small of the back. Just gets a ticking off on the referee, not a yellow card. That's why you heard a few boos around us. Again, the locals would have preferred a yellow card to have been issued.
Yeah,
what this does do, though, Perry, it gives Charlton a long throw opportunity here.
Yeah, be Edwards again. Just going to hoist the ball in.
From the left-hand side. Up go the heads of the near post. It's flicked out to the edge of the area. Almost dropped for Carey. Cleared away by Tyrese Campbell for Sheffield United. Bell is the last man back. And now Harmer has been penalised for a foul off the ball. Oh, no, Harmer was fouled off the ball, forgive me, by James Bree. And that's given Sheffield United a free kick. 11 minutes gone in the second half. And you can just feel, Perry Groves, around us here at Bramall, that little bit of tetchiness creeping in amongst the supporters, that little bit of frustration that it's still goalless here.
Yeah, I think obviously they haven't got the response they thought it was going to have. You know, they thought it was going to be all blood and thunder, and it was be Sheffield United dominated the game, and there's a little bit of tension that's creeped in.
It's not been poor, has it, by either side, by any means? It's not been poor.
What it is, there's been a lot of effort, isn't there, and application, but it's just in the final third, that little bit of sort of creativity and a little bit of know-how.
Oh, Sidney Peck with a lovely run down the right-hand side of the area, being held as he gets to the byline, wins a corner off Greg Doherty, but that's terrific persistence for Sheffield United from Sidney Peck. Corner at the Kop end, 0-0.
Yeah, just a couple of little swivels there from Peck on the byline. Just his counterpart in the midfield, Doherty just stayed with him, made sure he did his defensive duties. Doherty got his block in for Charlton, corner for Sheffield United on their right.
Taken short. Benny gives it back to Burrows, right-hand corner of the area. Just chips it into the edge of the 6-yard box. Headed out to O'Hare, tried to get his shot away, couldn't get enough contact on it. But Sheffield United still retain possession out on the left-hand side, and Tanganga is pushed over by Bree, and that's another free kick to the Blades, this time tight to the touchline, level with the 18-yard line on their left-hand side. 0-0 the score.
That's just such a silly foul from James Bree there. Tanganga's like the centre-half, he's facing his own touchline. The balls look like he's going to roll out of play, he's going nowhere. And the last thing you want to do is give a unnecessary cheap free kick away and give Sheffield United the
Which
chance.
begs the question why he would do that, what his thought process is to think, I should nudge him in the back here.
There isn't. It's a Homer Simpson, you know, when he's sitting just in the tree with his swings and just nothing in his head whatsoever. That's exactly what's happened.
Harmer's free kick coming up then for Sheffield United, level with the 18-yard line, as I say, out on the left-hand side. Harmer, right-footed in-swinger, whips into the near post, heads go up, Peck got up there, but it was defended well too by Amari Bell to keep it away from the Charlton net. But Ogbene picks up the loose ball now down for the Sheffield United right. Looking to get the cross in, does get the cross in, but it's too deep beyond everybody in a red and white striped shirt. Stays in play in actual fact on the far side of the field, and then it's allowed to be dribbled out for a throw in Charlton's right back position. Port Vale 1, 10-man Mansfield 0. Devante Cole, son of Andrew Cole, with the opener for the Valiants. Swindon get a goal back in League 2 at Salford. Another goal for Aaron Drinan, his 7th of the season. Salford 2, Swindon 1 at the Peninsula. Definitely stolen a few yards with that throw there, did Lloyd Jones for Charlton Athletic. Addicks headed down towards halfway. Tyrese Campbell trying to make a nuisance of himself. He did well and tried to nod it into the path of Carey, who was making a run over the halfway line, but Sheffield United get it back. Peck and Matos, the two defensive midfielders combined. Now Burrows up against his opposite number, Carey, turns and gives the ball back into his own half for Tanganga, who does a little pirouette to keep it away from Charlie Kelman. And we were talking about what Sheffield United can do substitution-wise. What about what Charlton Athletic can do from the bench at this point, Perry Groves? 0-0.
Well, I'm just looking, I don't think Nathan Jones will be in too much of a hurry, because at the minute they look just very comfortable, don't they? They're soaking up the pressure. Say the centre half defending really well. He might want to bring on Apter, you know, in that sort of right wing position, you know, give him a bit more threat going forward, because to be fair, Charlie Kelman hasn't really been in the game up front for Charlton, as he had that 1v1 break where he didn't really have, you know, sort of any courage.
It's kind of why I had Miles Leeburn in my head, son of the great striker Carl Leeburn, who's one of the substitutes for the Addicts. Could be an option for a more physical presence. Here's Chidozie Ogbene. loses possession as he tried to dribble through a couple of Charlton defenders. Long ball hit downfield looking for Kelman, but dealt with by McGuinness at the back for Sheffield United. Peck gives the ball to Burrows, tries to touch it round Bree, but the Charlton wing-back first to it, plays himself into trouble as he runs back towards his own penalty area almost, but keeps it away from Harmer in the end. And the ball up to halfway might go Charlton's way, but no, there's a foul by Kelman on Matos. Alex Matos, who was bought for £1 million from Chelsea. And here comes... I'm an absolute soothsayer. Didn't see it. I promise I didn't see it, but Miles Leaburn is coming on.
You had your theatre binoculars on. You could see the coach's notes.
Miles Leaburn for Charlie Kelman is the first change of the afternoon. As I mentioned, Miles Leaburn, son of Carl, 21 years of age, scored 10 goals last season. Hasn't scored this season as yet. He's had his injury problems during his time at Charlton, but he is more of a physical target man presence up front now for Charlton in place of Kelman.
Yeah, but he's 6'6" stance, isn't he? And you say he's a physical presence, but he's got good movement as well. You know, he's not just one of those strikers. It's just going to plough a furrow through the middle. We will move laterally, you know, into sort of the wider area as well.
We see Carl a lot because Carl, for those that don't know, works for television companies as a sort of match director at Premier League games particularly. So we see Carl around a lot over the past few years, and he's so proud of the fact that the apple hasn't fallen that far from the tree and that his boy is playing professional football the same as he did with such distinction. He's trying to get on the end of this goal kick from Kaminsky. Drifts over his bed, but Tyrese Campbell will get onto the loose ball down the right-hand side of the area for Charlton. Tries to play it across the box. Only Carey was waiting. It was blocked anyway, but Charlton have kept hold of possession. Burke finds Bree. All the hands have gone up waiting for an offside that never came. Don't know what the problem is. Or is the ball burst?
Flat. Yeah, the ball's gone flat.
Oh, the ball's burst. There's a rarity. The ball has indeed gone completely flat, so the referee just dumps it by the touchline, picks up another one off the cone, and we can restart with an uncontested drop ball as Hull City go 2-0 up on Southampton. John Lundstrom will still not really enjoying his opening few weeks as the new Southampton manager, it seems. Now here's Leaburn down the left-hand side of the area for Charlton. Just dropped his shoulder for a moment, almost got away from Ben Godfrey. Godfrey just toe ends the ball out of play for a throw right down by the corner flag. 62 minutes gone on Talksport 2. 0-0, but intriguing the way this game is changing in terms of its possessional stats and the ebb and flow, Perry Groves.
Well, now Edwards will have the long throw for Charlton, and you can bet your life he's just going to try and put it onto Miles Leaburn's head at the near post.
Goes into the near post. It's actually headed up in the air by Reece Burke, who brings it down, gets it back to Edwards. Edwards puts it back into the box. That should be easy for Cooper, and is. And he will look to release the ball early for Sheffield United, maybe, but instead he holds on to it. Bowls it out underarm to Sidney Peck in front of him. Peck can turn. Good ball along the deck for Harmer, just shy of the halfway line, and he clips it out left to Harrison Burrows, who's motored into the Charlton half. Burrows plays it in field for Tyrese Campbell, knocks it back for Harmer. Harmer spots Peck in space, 30 yards out, gets it onto his right, and the shot is deflected off Greg Doherty for another Sheffield United corner at the Kop end. 0-0 the score on Talksport 2.
Yeah, they worked it really well down the left-hand side. Comes into Harmer in the inside left position, and then he just puts it out to Peck. Peck gets it onto his right foot. Again, they've had a good little battle, him and Doherty in that midfield area. Doherty goes and closes the ball down, gets a deflection. Corner fish at Sheffield United on their right-hand side.
Norwich 1, Wrexham 2 in the Championship. Ryan Longman, they turned it around, Wrexham. Corner kick to Sheffield United. Burrows to take it into the near post. It's flapped away by Kaminsky, but he was under so much pressure, and the referee deems that as a foul against the Charlton keeper, and he's gone down holding his left ankle. Or is that a twisted sock? Is he going to need some treatment? Does that mean everybody comes to the sideline to get some coaching?
No, I think
0-0.
I think he's snapped his sock tie. That's actually
painful. That Barrow 1, Crewe 0, by the way, in League 2. Isaac Fletcher putting Barrow ahead. That's a big scoreline for Wrexham, and particularly for Phil Parkinson, who's been under pressure. Now it's 3-1 to Wrexham. Josh Windass has got his second of the afternoon to make it 3-1, and that'll put a little bit of pressure on Liam Manning early in his Norwich career.
Just been poor at home, haven't they, Norwich, this season?
Louis Barry's going to be on in a moment for Sheffield United to try and shake things up. 25 minutes to go on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. Ian Danter and Perry Groves with you as the rain intensifies in South Yorkshire. Sheffield United 0, Charlton Athletic 0. Here come the Blades once more with Peck at the edge of the centre circle. Drives it out to this near side, the right for Ogbene, who can have a run at Edwards. Gets into the area, clips it back to the edge of the box. Peck into the area. Campbell with a header, and it goes wide, and it's been given as a goal kick. Campbell thinks it's a corner for Sheffield United. Ben Toner, the referee, says otherwise. Let's see who is being taken off to allow Louis Barry to come on here, Perry Groves, 0-0. And it is going to be
Ben Godfrey.
It is Ben Godfrey that's making way. So that is very much an attacking change. And Femi Siriki coming on as well. Siriki can play. In fact, Siriki's coming on in Godfrey's position, surely to goodness. That's, although the numbers went up to indicate it was going to be Godfrey for Barry. It's Godfrey for Siriki. So Siriki on for Godfrey, and Chidozie Ogbene is the player that's making way for Louis Barry on loan from Aston Villa. This is his 7th loan away from Villa Park with this spell he's going to have at Sheffield United. Scored 23 goals in 2 spells at Stockport before he went to Hull for a short spell last season and didn't score at all, but only made 4 appearances. So he's got a quarter of the game left to see what he can do up front for Sheffield United. And Siriki is in that right back position in place of Ben Godfrey. 0-0. 66 minutes gone on your home of the EFL. Don't forget the game day phone in with Messrs O'Hara and Pennant at 5:30 on Talksport. And they've got a bit of bonus football for you tonight as well on Talksport. Fulham Brentford, a West London derby at 8 p.m. Joe Shannon and Stuart Pearce will be your commentary team for that one. Now here's Tyrese Campbell for Charlton Athletic, looking to make a nuisance of himself going forward, but that's good defending from Siriki, just on as a substitute to calmly nod it back to Michael Cooper, and then sent downfield by Harrison Burrows, looking for the other Tyrese Campbell, but across came Lloyd Jones. Charlton trying to make something of it at the edge of the area, and cleared away by Tanganga up to halfway, but a good strong header down from Edwards. Doherty keeps it away from the attentions of 2 or 3 Sheffield United players. Fed down the right-hand side, but offside goes up against James Bree, and Sheffield United will have a free kick in their left-back position. More conversations between Chris Wilder and Alan Nill, his trusty assistant down beneath us. Maybe some more changes in the offing for the home side, as the deadlock still remains to be broken here on Talksport 2.
Yeah, well, Chris Wilder, as we said, maybe Louis Barry would come. He's going to come on this right-hand side. Obviously with Siriki behind him. Just a bit of energy, a bit of fresh leg. See if he can get himself 1v1 with Edwards. And the one thing that Ogbene didn't do, when he did get 1v1s, he actually, when he was engaging Edwards, then he'd go to him, stop, and then gives Edwards the chance to go and close him down, where he should go full pelt and just knock it out of his feet, get on the outside and see if he can get his crosses in. So we see what Louis Barry can do.
Barnet 2, Grimsby 0 in League 2. Lee Unlove with the second goal for the Bees. And Walsall 3, Tranmere 1 elsewhere in League 2. Daniel Carnu. Looks like Walsall going to keep that decent rowing going that they've been on. Going to be 6 unbeaten for Matt Sadler after the heartbreak of last season that we all remember. Back here in the Championship, Sheffield United having some defending to do as Charlton have the ball left-hand corner of the box, but it's cleared away for the Blades, and then O'Hare wins a throw off Connor Coventry right next to Nathan Jones as he stands at the edge of his technical area. Siriki going to have this throw for the Blades. 0-0 it stays. There is a winner in this most definitely, although Michael Cooper, you would argue, has had more to do away to our left in the Sheffield United goal in this match than Thomas Kaminski at the other end. But that can all change. Oh, poor touch from Tanganga. He's given it away just shy of halfway. And Charlton coming forward with Bree. He finds Barry, right-hand side of the area. Oh, he falls over on the ball, trying to make space for a shot. And Sonny Carey just couldn't keep his feet at the appropriate moment. Huge frustration for him. And Sheffield United just got it clear as far downfield as they could. 0-0.
Yeah, it was a good break from James Bree. in the middle of Sheffield United's half, just made sure he carried the ball, put it out to Sonny Carey. He's on the edge of the 18-yard box, just tries to cut back inside, just gets it stuck underneath his feet, ends up getting a little bit too scruffy. And that one little passage played there, Dan, sort of summed up the whole game, just coming into 70 minutes. They just need both teams to have had that. What players can have that little bit of composure, in that final third, just to calm themselves down? And you can understand why, because obviously both teams are in really poor form at the moment, so it's not going to be free-flowing. Now it's very, very finely poised, obviously at 0-0, because this game has got a 1-0 win each way written all over it.
A few players start to lose their footing more and more as the rain continues to hammer down at Bramall Lane. Long throw going to come in then for Charlton Athletic. As soon as I say that, it's taken short by Coventry to Bree. Bree can now put the ball into the area. Decent cross, flicked on by Doherty. Well claimed on his goal line by Michael Cooper. Another half chance goes begging for Charlton, 0-0.
Yeah, good play again from Charlton on their right-hand side. Great ball in from Bree, first time, whipped in with his right foot. Doherty just gets a little flick on it with the top of his head. He said it was really good hands there from Cooper, just making sure that he's got nice soft hands as the ball just skips up off the surface. He's looked very, very composed, hasn't he, Cooper, in the Sheffield United goal from what he's had to do.
It's a strong challenge on halfway by Lloyd Jones on Tyrese Campbell. Free kick awarded by the referee. Barnet 3, Grimsby 0. Namdi Offerball gets his second of the afternoon and Barnet's third. We're not too far from Chesterfield here in South Yorkshire, but they're down at Bromley today in League 2, and they lead now at Bromley 2-1 do Chesterfield. Liam Mandeville with their second goal of the afternoon. And a reminder in the Premier League: Brighton 2, Spurs 1, Burnley 1, Forest 1, West Ham 1, Palace 1 and Wolves 1, Leeds 3, the current scorelines. Double change coming up once again for Sheffield United, and Tom Cannon and Tahith Chong are both hands on hips down beneath us on the touchline, ready to be introduced. But I think Chris Wilder's going to leave it until this free kick on the halfway line has been taken by Sheffield United to see what comes of it. We've got 18 minutes to go, waiting for the deadlock to be broken here at Bramall Lane.
And they're a centre-half short, Charlton, because it's Jones who's got to go over on the right-hand side because there was a clash of heads. So just got to make sure you get a good delivery.
They're going to make the change now, in actual fact, before the free kick's taken. And that's one Tyrese Campbell off the pitch. Phew. And on comes Tom Cannon to replace him. And Callum O'Hare is the other player to be replaced. He comes off to allow Tahith Chong, former Manchester United Academy graduate and spells at Birmingham and Luton. With his big head of hair, he comes on for another change for Sheffield United, who have this free kick on halfway. 17 minutes to play. Harrison Burrows to take it, left-footed, lofts it up to the edge of the area, headed clear by Leeburn, but it comes out to Chong, his first involvement, immediately finds Barry on the right-hand side of the area, screws it into the near post, it's cleared back to Barry. He's got it again by the dead ball line, support from Chong by the touchline. Lovely left-footed ball in from Chong, but it's just over the head of everybody in red and white. It was queuing up at the far post. Goal kick to Charlton Athletic, stays 0-0 on Talksport 2. Perry Groves.
Yeah, Chong just easing the ball with his left foot. It was really, really good defensive play from Reece Burke on the far post, because McGuinness had stayed up obviously from the free kick from beforehand, and he's just peeled away at the far post to try and get a run on it, and all Reece Burke did was just stood his ground. That meant McGuinness had nowhere to jump. Ball just goes out aimlessly for a goal kick for Charlton Athletic. I have to say, in the modern day game, Dance, we talk about leaders, and there's not many natural leaders. Reece Burke, who's come into the Charlton Athletic side today, I think at the moment he's been absolutely outstanding. Playing on that right side of the three of the centre halves, you can tell that he's taking responsibility. He's marshalling all his teammates all around him. So I think he's been very, very good for Charlton.
0-0 here on Talksport 2, but a former Blade has scored. Ollie McBurney has got a third for Hull City against Southampton. That's 3-0 to the Tigers. AFC Wimbledon equalise at Doncaster. Ryan Johnson making that 1-1. And Notts County 2-0 up on Crawley in League 2 through Tyrese Hall. Charlton have a throw that they've sent back to the halfway line. Jones squares the ball in field to Amari Bell in the centre circle. He just chips it up to the edge of the area. Leeburn helps it on, looking for either Doherty or Carey, but just didn't get the right purchase on the header. But the idea was right, and it's a goal kick in the end to Sheffield United. 30,165 here for Chris Wilder's first game back in charge in his third spell. Of course, the vast majority of those 30,000 willing a Blades winner. But there's Charlton fans away to our left who think that their side can nick it, and they've won the ball back inside their own half. Coventry looking for Tyrese Campbell out on the left-hand side, but it's won back by Barry for Sheffield United. Now Chong is after it, but the ball skips out of play for a throw down the left-hand side for Charlton Athletic. So time running out here for either side to do something about this scoreline. But certainly a number of changes made by Chris Wilder, Perry Groves, to try and force the issue.
Yes, what you want managers to do, Dance, because it's gone a little bit flat. So Cannon's gone up front instead of Tyrese Campbell. Then obviously it looks like it's Harmer who's just going to play in the 10.
Poor touch from Bree, and he hauled down Gus Harmer, and he's going to get himself a yellow card for that challenge because he tried to bring the ball down just next to the centre circle, lost the flight of it. Harmer was away, and an easy yellow card for Ben Toner to administer there. And what it gives Sheffield United is a free kick pretty much at the midway point of the half, but to the left of centre, 0-0 as they attack the Cop end in this second half.
That was the old don't panic Captain Manning, wasn't it, from Bree there as the ball bounced up. He knew that Harmer had got the run on him, was just going to gallop away, so he just hauled him back. As you said there, so free kick in a dangerous position for Sheffield United.
Maybe too far out for a direct strike, but the Charlton defensive line is bang on the 18-yard line. Again, Harmer and Burrows, the two players standing over it. Which player will strike this free kick? Might be Burrows, actually, to try and swing it away from the keeper. It is, up to around the penalty spot. McGuinness can't get a touch on it, drops at the edge of the D. Chong lays it back to Harmer. Harmer comes in field, 30 yards from goal, plays it to his right to Sariki. Sariki drives down the right-hand side of the box for the moment, leaves it for Louis Barry. Barry doesn't put the cross in, gives it back to Sidney Peck. Peck back out to Sariki, right-hand side, level with the 18-yard line. Trying to make room for a cross himself, can't find the room. So it's back to Peck once again. Louis Barry takes over. Four waiting for a cross in red and white, but it's not coming in yet. Sariki wants more. Good ball down the right-hand side of the box for Barry. First time ball straight into the near post and straight into the grateful arms of Thomas Kaminski. 0-0, 13 minutes to go. Rain intensifying all the more.
Sariki, Barry and Peck there had about 4 opportunities, Dance, you said there, to load the ball into the 18-yard box. In the end, because they kept just passing it between themselves, that gave Charlton Athletic the chance just to get out to their 18-yard box, and then when it eventually comes to Barry on the right-hand side, he tries to whip it in, just goes straight into Kaminski's hands at the near post.
Leeburn, good turn on halfway, tries to fire it forward to Tyrese Campbell, and he hauled Sariki to the ground, Leeburn, to try and muscle his way through onto the loose ball. I think there's signs of life on the Charlton bench. I think there's going to be another change coming up for the Addicts here. And I've got a funny feeling we're now going to see the exit of the other Tyrese Campbell. So I've had to deal with two of them for 78 minutes. Now they're both disappearing because Isaac Olafe wants of Stockport. He's coming on for Tyrese Campbell. Olafe, who scored 37 goals in 2.5 years at Stockport, began at Millwall, hasn't scored yet for Charlton. And the other change, that sees Harvey Nibbs coming on, who scored the winner against Watford after making 100 appearances for Reading, and he's coming on for Sonny Carey, the central midfielder. So 2 late changes that Nathan Jones will hope will have some effect, because Charlton are by no means out of this game. Perry Groves at 0-0.
No, you have to say, Dance, they've looked pretty comfortable, haven't they? You know, I wouldn't say they've been under immense pressure, coming up with just 11 minutes of normal time to play. So Nathan Jones will probably thinking that his team, you know, have got enough quality on the pitch to see if they can nick a much treasured away win.
Notts County 3, Crawley Town 0. Alassane Yatta gets the third for County. And Oldham 2-0 up at Cheltenham as well in League 2. Ball's back on halfway with Sidney Peck. Tried to fire it through for Matos, but he lost his footing. Leeburn brings it away for Charlton. Really is thumping down the rain now here at Bramall Lane. Lovely skill from Harmer to win it back, and a little hop over the legs of Leeburn as he brought it away. Then he wins a throw on halfway. Still full of industry and running, Gus Harmer. desperate to prove a point to his former manager, Ruben Selles, who benched him for that final game of Selles' reign in charge when Ipswich put them to the sword 5-0. Ball's back with Femi Siriki, just on as a right back. Poor ball, comfortably dealt with at the back forward. And now Leeburn trying to make strides through the centre of the pitch, but across came Japhet Tanganga and made the room and got it clear. It's one thing that Leeburn doesn't quite have on someone like Tanganga is just that half a yard of pace. Ball kept in play by Femi Siriki. Nathan Jones says it wasn't kept in play on this near side. Siriki comes forward, looks for Tahith Chong. Back to play 30 yards out. Harmer there with him, gives it back to Chong. Now Burrows takes over left-hand side. Gus Harmer plays the ball back into the centre of the half for Peck. Now Siriki, bit of room maybe to try a drive. It's blocked by Bell at the edge of the area for Charlton and then hooked away by Doherty downfield.
It's good defending from Bell, but when it comes to Siriki, edge of the 18-yard box, just got to make sure he just brings it out wide to Lurie Barry's on this wide on the right-hand side just to change the angle.
Nathan Jones going potty at his Charlton players for not pushing out quick enough when they'd won possession back and played it downfield. 9 minutes to go. It is Sheffield United 0, Charlton Athletic 0, and Chris Wilder's homecoming for his third spell in charge of the club. Not going quite the way he would have hoped when his head hit the pillow last night. But there's still time for a winner for either side. Here's Amari Bell for Charlton. Inside his own half. Feints to send it downfield, then flicks it away on halfway from the attention to Barry. Played in field for Connor Coventry. Drives the ball beautifully out to Bree, right-hand side with Harrison Burrows backtracking. In comes the cross from Bree. Header from Doherty over the bar. Flash header from 10 yards out. It's a goal kick in the end, but another warning for Sheffield United. The cross from Bree met perfectly by Greg Doherty with a flying run, but it was a good yard or two over the bar, 0-0.
Yeah, really good switch of play from Coventry initially, from this left out to the right-hand side. Bree just one touch, whips his ball in. It was the other centre midfield player, Doherty, lost his marker, got himself in the 18-yard box, got a really good header, couldn't quite redirect it. In the end, it just sailed about a yard over Cooper's crossbar.
Ball breaks for Charlton inside their own half. The header up to halfway is intercepted for Sheffield United by Peck. Rolls it back for his keeper. And Cooper will clear it right-footed downfield. Looking long for Barry, but on this wet surface, if it bounces, it will just skid all the more through to the other keeper, and that's exactly what it's done. Now Charlton trying to play a long ball downfield, and exactly the same thing happens. It just skids through to Michael Cooper. Less than 8 minutes, in fact 7 minutes of normal time to play now on Talksport 2. Not many people drifting away from Bramall Lane. I think they sense that there could be a winner coming for the Blades, but Charlton fans will hope quite the opposite happens, and Olafe's just won a free kick off Siriki down this near side, the left. Doncaster 1, AFC Wimbledon 2. Miles Hippolyte comes forward from midfield. Could be 3 wins in a row for the Dons. And Stevenage 2, Exeter 1. Stevenage back in front through Jordan Roberts, looking to go 4 unbeaten.
Had their joint best start to the EFL season in their history, haven't they?
Stevenage, yeah.
16 points before today.
Jamie Reid's been scoring plenty for them, so they've had a good, comfortable get-go. Free kick for Charlton Athletic, sent forward by Kaminski, drops at the edge of the area. Leeburn tees up Olafe, left-hand side of the area, lost his footing for a moment, couldn't get hold of the ball. Chong hits it against the Charlton defender and wins a throw. I hear it's 2-2 Brighton against Tottenham, that Tottenham have got an equaliser at the Amex.
Miles offside. Miles offside.
Of course you'd say that. It was a Jan-Paul van Hekke own goal. It may well have given Thomas Frank's side a share of the spoils. They were 2-0 down in that game, remember, Tottenham. So Jamie O'Hara maybe not pulling his hair out quite so much at this point before he does the game day phoning with Jermaine Pennant from 5:30 over on Talksport. 6 minutes to go. 0-0 between Sheffield United and Charlton. Chong trying to win the ball for Sheffield United high up the field. Finds Harmer in the centre of the Charlton half of the pitch. Now Chong steers it out to the left-hand side and Burrows. Chong goes on the overlap, but it's gone in field to Peck. Now Burrows tucks it in field for Gus Harmer. Ball backwards of square for Matos. Now Saricki, right-hand corner of the area, swirls across it over the head of Kaminski. Kept in play by Burrows on the far side of the field, being watched by Bree. Peck's out there with him, receives it now. Lets the ball run across his body, Sidney Peck. Then turns and darts back down the inside left channel. Leaves it for Chong. Cannon waiting for a ball into the box. Harmer has it in the centre of the Charlton half. You can hear the fans saying, get the ball into the area.
I think they were telling the referee Ben Toner to get out of the way because he's just had a little over there when it went through to Harmer.
Now here's Saricki down the right-hand side for Sheffield United. Oh, and Barry couldn't keep it in play on this near side. Quickly taken throw from Charlton. And they've got Miles Leeburn in possession down the left-hand side. Tries to step inside McGuinness. Went to ground, no foul, says the referee. 5 minutes to go. 0-0.
Yeah, it's good defending from McGuinness, just making sure when Leeburn had the ball, didn't dive in, just made sure as he flicked it inside him, we just run across him, took the ball off his toes.
Now Sidney Peck awkwardly turned inside his own half, and he's been dispossessed by Nibs, and here's Leeburn, edge of the area, drives it goalwards, great save by Cooper down to his left. Leeburn goes out to retrieve the loose ball. Right-hand side, Charlton still have it. Leeburn leaves it for Bree. Bree lofts it to the far post. Nobody there in a Charlton shirt. And Sheffield United can try and bring it clear. Saricki finds Matos and he completes the clearance. What on earth was Sidney Peck doing in the centre of his own half just a moment ago? Here comes Amari Bell meantime for Charlton. They're sensing blood here, the addicts. Bell still has it, lays it off to Edwards. Lovely ball down the left-hand side of the box for Doherty. Across the face of goal, claims for a handball, not given. Comes out to the edge of the box and Bree with a left-footed shot well over the top. Another massive chance for Charlton goes begging. And suddenly Sheffield United are all at sea at the back, 0-0.
Well, that all started because Peck just got himself caught on the ball right in the middle of Sheffield United's half. To be fair to Nibs, it was really good play. He just nicked it away from him, went to Leeburn. I think Leeburn could have actually travelled down to another maybe 10 yards. He tried to have a shot, simple save from Cooper, just palms it to his left-hand side. Then Charlton recycle the ball, comes out to James Bree, gets it onto his left foot and just hits it again a little bit too high over Cooper's crossbar. But as you said there, I think now it's Charlton Athletic can actually smell a bit of blood because there's the tension inside Bramall Lane.
2.5 minutes to go. Leeburn giving chase as the ball's rolled back to Cooper. Here's right-footed first-time clearance straight onto the head of Lloyd Jones. Tanganga heads clear this time for Sheffield United. Swindon equalise at Salford. 2-2. Jamie Knight-LaBelle for Swindon. And Reading 2, Leyton Orient 1 back in League One. Here's Greg Doherty, the Charlton captain, making tracks down the left-hand side, but he nudged Femi Saricki over. Referee spotted it and gave Sheffield United the free kick, and the Charlton fans away to our left incensed at that decision going against them. 0-0. Change coming up for Sheffield United as we enter the last 2 minutes of normal time. And Alex Matos is coming off, and Jibril Soumaré, who's on loan from Braga in Portugal, the Senegalese midfielder, he's going to get a few minutes to help shore up that defensive midfield for Sheffield United. Now 90 seconds of normal time to go, plus whatever Ben Toner wants to add on for stoppages. Is there a winner in this championship encounter for either Sheffield United or Charlton? Because both look like they've got the match winners out there to do it. Good defending from Amari Bell as Sheffield United sent the ball long down the right-hand side. He just backed into the attacking player, let the ball trickle out of play for a throw down by the corner flag. But it is deep in Sheffield United, Charlton Athletic territory. How much of a press can Sheffield United put on here to try and win the ball back high up the field? Edwards gets the throw in. It's one back by the head of Sidney Peck, but his header infield goes straight through to the Charlton keeper, Thomas Kaminski. Waits for Tom Cannon to get within 3 strides of him and then picks it up. Going to clear from hands at the edge of his penalty area. Oh, in fact, the referee's given that as a free kick for an offside, I think, from Sidney Peck's header. So we're into the last 30 seconds of normal time. About to find out how much additional we'll have here at Bramall Lane on Talksport 2. Leeburn flicks on for Charlton. Nibs down the right side of the box. Bree into the area. Ronnie across. Oh, it's in! Isaac Alafe wins it for Charlton and spoils Chris Wilder's party. Suddenly Charlton came forward, the ball rolled across the area, and Isaac Alafe scores his first Charlton Athletic goal to surely snatch all 3 points for the Addicts at Bramall Lane and leave Chris Wilder and co dejected. Stoppage time at Bramall Lane. It's Sheffield United 0, Charlton Athletic 1.
Dance there of finishers. Brilliant substitution from Nathan Jones. Comes out to Nibs in the right-hand side of the 18-yard box. He just checks back, and then you're thinking, can you show that little bit of quality dance that's been missing from the whole game? Nibs does brilliantly. He just rolls it across the 6-yard box. Alafe's there. Then he has to have composure. Instead of his right foot, he just rolls it underneath Cooper to give Charlton a 1-0 lead. And I was going to say to nick the free, they haven't nicked the 3 points dance. They've been absolutely superb through the whole game, very controlled football from Nibs and Alafe to give Charlton a 1-0 lead here at Bramall Lane.
Well, what a moment for the travelling support away to our left. Joy unconfined in that bottom tier of the Bramall Lane end, but elsewhere around the stadium, seats starting to empty. It's going to be another Sheffield United defeat at the start of this season. They've played better, but they're still staring down the barrel of defeat here. So 1-0 the score. Mansfield equalise at Port Vale 1-1. Sheffield United give the ball up. Nibs down the right-hand side of the area. Pulls it back to Leeburn. He leaves it at the edge of the area for Greg Doherty. Doherty spots Bree in space. Right-hand side. Leaves it for Connor Coventry. Charlton will just try and keep the ball now in added time and try and make the most of it. We played nearly 2 minutes of added time. I didn't see the board go up in the celebrations to how many minutes were being added on here at Bramall Lane. Nibs can't find a Charlton teammate. Alafe slides in brilliantly to win the ball back and then goes down at the edge of the area. No foul, says the referee. We play on. Ball's given away though by Sheffield United. Back it goes to Thomas Kaminski. This is going to be a huge 3 points for Charlton Athletic, as James Bree can't get the better of his man. Ball cleared up to halfway, but Charlton the first to every ball at the moment. Now they've lost out. Chong needlessly gives it away to Coventry, and now right hand side Bree just takes the game down to walking pace, not interested in making strides down the right hand side. Now Nibs takes over and heads for the corner flag. Tried to nutmeg Tanganga, and it goes out of play for a throw to Charlton on the right hand side. It's all going the Addicts' way, and they lead here in stoppage time. 4 minutes were added on. We played 3 of those, Perry. 1-0 Charlton Athletic.
You can say it's been a very, very composed performance through the whole game from Charlton Athletic. I'd say, to be fair to Nathan Jones, he didn't settle for the 0-0 draw, and Alafe's gone on. Looked like he's going to be the match winner. And it's a very composed finish, Dance, because he had a lot of time to think about it when the ball was squared for him from James Bree, and he just manages to roll it under Cooper in the Sheffield United goal. You see the Charlton Athletic fans for left-hand side were absolutely ecstatic.
Ready to celebrate again, Charlton fans to our left, if these next 30 seconds continue to go their way. One last chance for Sheffield United to get level. Ball's lofted to the right-hand corner of the area, but Barry can't get the better of Edwards. Edwards' clearance goes up to halfway. Last chance surely now as Sariki down the Sheffield United right, the near side to us, looks to go on the outside of Alafe, but the goal scorer loses out. A foul goes against Sariki for pushing Alafe to the ground. The Coppen can't believe that decision, but it is a free kick to Charlton Athletic, and that may be that. They have a free kick in their left-back position. I think Harvey Nibs is just getting rid of his undershirt. I think he's sopping wet, and he's not long been on the field. But this may be the last action as Kaminski prepares to take this free kick, the goalkeeper, from just outside his area. Going to be a right-footed clearance downfield. Referee blows his whistle. The 4 minutes have been played. It's purely down to the referee now as to how much more we add on. As Kaminski hits the ball right-footed, looking for Leeburn. He gets the flick on, but it goes straight through to Cooper. Cooper immediately bowls the ball out in front of him. Plays it right-footed downfield. We play on Talksport 2. A flick on, might get Harmer away through the middle. Amari Bell, brilliant defending to keep it away from Harmer. And the referee blows the full-time whistle. And Sheffield United still cannot get a point, even when Chris Wilder is reappointed, because Charlton Athletic have taken all 3 points back to South London with a late show. It was Isaac Alafe scoring his first goal for his new club after his move from Stockport. And stoppage time approached. Harvey Nibbs flicked the ball down the right-hand side of the area. James Bree with a lovely ball across the face of goal, aching to be tucked home, and that's exactly what Alafe did in front of the joyous Charlton fans away to our left-hand side. But for Chris Wilder, dejection. He lost his opening game in his first 2 spells in charge as Sheffield United manager. The same fate has befallen him again here at Bramall Lane this afternoon. Charlton get their 2nd win of the season. As far as Sheffield United are concerned, still no points to speak of in the Championship. Full time at a rather dejected Bramall Lane, save for that bottom tier of the Bramall Lane underway to our left. It's finished. Sheffield United 0. Charlton Athletic 1.
Yes, Chris Wilder's return party spoilt then by Charlton, and as Dance was saying there, they remain bottom of the Championship table without a point. The only EFL side without a point so far this season. So let's look back on the game as a whole with Perry Groves, who was alongside Dance there. And oh dear, back to the drawing board a little bit for Chris Wilder when he gets back into the training ground, no doubt. But all credit to Charlton and how they just persisted in that game.
Yeah, very much so. Now, it was just a very composed, controlled away performance from Nathan Jones' Charlton Athletic side. He went to like the 3 centre halves. I'd have thought Burke was absolutely outstanding on the right side of the 3 centre halves. And to be fair, the longer the game went on, you could feel sort of a bit of tension, here at Bramall Lane, because the Sheffield United fans obviously wanted to see a bit more from their team. It wasn't for lack of effort. It was just, you can tell they're lacking in confidence. You're just lacking that sort of extra half a yard. Didn't really cause Kaminsky in the Charlton Athletic goal too many problems. I can remember him having sort of 1 save to make in the first half from a Gus Harmer free kick. Just in Nathan Jones, the Charlton Athletic manager, just revving up the Charlton Athletic fans on our left-hand side, probably about 2,000.
He's such a shrinking violet, isn't he, Nathan Jones?
And the thing is, though, but why shouldn't he? Because they've come here. Obviously, they drew last weekend against Millwall, where they maybe should have won the game, considered late equaliser. And he'll be delighted with his team performance. And to be fair to him, he didn't settle for the 0-0. I said in commentary after about 80 minutes, this has got 1-0 written over from either side. And he made his substitutions in the forward areas. Obviously, Alafe come on sort of the left-hand side. Nibbs went in behind Leeburn, sort of up front. And those two had a massive say, obviously, in Charlton Athletic's winner.
Yeah, first win in the league then for Charlton since the opening day when they beat Watford by 1-0 at home. And they host Blackburn next in their next Championship fixture. But focusing very much on the home side, Sheffield United, because it was all about them in the sense of the headlines with Chris Wilder's return. 1 shot on target throughout the whole game. Are they really lacking quality up front, Perry?
And that was the shot from the free kick. There's nothing sort of in free play. There was a little incident in like the second half, after about the 85th minute, where Sariki and Peck and Barry had the ball and they passed it amongst each other for about 5 or 6, 7 passes, where they should be getting the ball into the 18-yard box. And when the crosses were coming in, they either hit the first man or went straight into Kaminsky or went, overhit it. So it's just, I think Chris Wilder afterwards will say that he's proud of his team's effort, which is fine. They looked a little bit better defensively, but then they got caught out in their left-back position. Obviously, when the ball came into Nibbs and he had a little cut back inside, he put it to James Bree, and then James Bree showed that quality they've been missing in the final third in the whole game from both teams, and he rolled it across 6-yard box, and Alafe was very composed, inset with his right foot, put it underneath Cooper, made Charlton obviously win the game in the 90th minute. So he'll be pleased, Chris Wilder, of the effort. lacking in quality because they're lacking a little bit of belief and confidence. But Nathan Jones, I can bet you that he will be waxing lyrical about his Charlton Athletic team, because the way that they've performed, and I said about obviously Burke coming outstanding, Jones and Bell, the other two centre halves, were outstanding. Coventry and Doherty, put a shift in that midfield area. And to be fair to Nathan Jones, he made the substitutions at the right time, and they call him the finishers, and it's exactly how it panned out.
Well, yeah, and as I say, the build-up to this one, as was with everybody, was the return of Chris Wilder. That's what dominated. No one really even talked about Charlton because of the Wilder factor. So no doubt Nathan Jones even will be absolutely delighted with his team's performance, and that they will be getting the headlines this time around.
So they should be, because obviously I said before the game, didn't I? This is a game that you wouldn't want to be coming, with the sort of the new manager bounce coming in, and Chris Wilder being an absolute Sheffield United legend and a championship sort of Jedi. But I think maybe the performance that Charlton had last week against Millwall, where Nathan Jones said he was pleased their performance, they were good on the ball, good in possession. Maybe they got a little bit of confidence that, because this didn't look like a side that hadn't won since the first championship game this season. Obviously they won their League Cup game as well, and they hadn't won since then. So this side looked very assured, very confident, and they all knew their jobs, and you could tell that they'd been really well schooled all week to play this, five at the back system. But to be fair to them, when they were in possession, they didn't just sit back. They made sure when it was Kelman up front, or Carey went sort of side by side with him, or Tyrese Campbell.
I still feel a little bit for Kelman, Natalie. He's not quite there yet. He's desperate for a goal to get off and running. So he'll have seen Alafe come off the bench and go, oh, for goodness sake.
I should have been me standing there.
But I did say before a ball was kicked that Nathan Jones wouldn't be fooled by any of this kidology about Chris Wilder coming back, and he wouldn't treat it as a different game simply because Sheffield United had changed their manager, and that's exactly how it's proved. It was a very professional performance from Charlton Athletic.
Well, Dance and Perry, thank you very much for your commentary today. And of course, there is work for Chris Wilder to do to at least get confidence back into his team, who are rock bottom of the Championship after a 6th successive league defeat as well. And what was meant to be a party for his return really did turn into a damp squib, with Charlton coming away with all 3 points from Bramall Lane.